Okay, and we should be live. Hopefully, everybody can see and hear us. How's everybody doing today? So today we've got below me here is Matthew Tapp from Barrows and Borderlands, which is a cool zero E kind of based game that is very mixed genre, which I am totally into, and I'm all in on that. And we've got Dave and George from Emperor's Choice, and it's home of the Arduin RPG, as well as a ton of fantastic miniatures. And when I say a ton, I literally mean a ton because they're all metal cast. So that stuff, adds up quick. And wait, I got my lucky Octorilla here.
Show off miniatures
just in case. Oh boy, here we go. So
giant slug.
Oh, there you go. The giant slug. That thing's cool too.
I love this guy, man. He's awesome.
Yeah. A lot of cool minis. And over in the corner is the link to their Kickstarter that they are doing with Griff Morgan of the Fellowship of the Thing, and he runs the informal game on YouTube, the Secrets of Blackmore documentary, and some other Blackmore and Dave Arneson kind of based books and stuff that he has. And it's the Lost Dungeons of Tannisborg that's part of the Kickstarter. So, but yeah. So how are you guys doing today?
Good.
What are we up to on the Kickstarter? It was like 35,000, something like that when I saw it.
36,000 right now, about to touch 37.
Nice.
Pretty close.
Nice. And we got a stretch goal at 40, was it? That you guys were saying today?
Yeah, we just announced it between yesterday and today. So if we hit 40, we're going to give the Arduin Adventure, which was a basic role play system Dave Hargrave did in 1980. So 64 pages, 8.5 by 11, perfect bound. We're getting them complete, but we're going to give that in addition to everything else. All the other stretch goals, everybody's blown by them. You're going to get a Doom Guard. You're going to get a Wendigo, 2 Sluggets. So you get 4 metal miniatures. And then Matt has 10 PDFs, hex maps that you can use that go along with the outdoor survival wilderness map. And they're they're based off of Dave Arneson's homemade outdoor survival map. So cool. You get 10 of those as PDFs. You can mix, match them, put them together, again, attach them with the wilderness survival board. So pretty nice. And Matt has some samples there.
Yeah, hang on. Let me here. I can do that.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, those are awesome. I remember those. I remember that map from the wilderness survival there. It's a cool stuff. Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah. So it gives you a nice selection of different things to use in the game. So we tried to be as pragmatic as possible. Like everything with the bundle, everything we're doing with the Kickstarter is something where you can use it, as much as you want, as little as you want, use it in whole. And you literally have years of old school, tabletop role play game material to use. Everything from monsters, spells to ideas, radiation, rituals, 5 different spell systems. It just was a really, to us, it's something, guys, that we would want to use, that we would want to play. It goes to the game of game things. There's a lot of different things we'll touch on tonight, but we just felt, let's get something together between the 3 companies, with Matt with Barrows and Borderlands, Griff from, the fellowship of the thing with his Taunus and Arduin. It was a natural fit. And we're like, let's do this. And so we said, let's go for it. And within a month, all of a sudden, bam, here we are. We have a Kickstarter going. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. And I really hope we make the 40K because I'm looking forward to any of the stretch goals and stuff. Obviously, I'm all in. I'm all in and then some. I got some of the books and stuff added on that that I didn't pick up, at my convention at CNY. So so I just added the entire package. I think for what is it, $100? I think you guys have like the complete Arduin set or something. So,
yeah, the Arduin bundle is $100. So we and there you go. There's the trilogy set.
Fantastic.
That's the special edition trilogy set, right? That
Yes.
collector's box.
Matt's
probably showing the real thing.
Matt's got all the stuff. Yeah, we'll leave him up there. We'll put him in the spotlight because nobody wants to see my ugly face. So, yeah, it's awesome.
And what's cool about this limited edition, Jason, and I know you were saying it, the original Arduin box set came with just the 3 books that Matt's showing there. And in this one, we're giving you 4 because the first edition, there we go, that Matt's showing is the Earl Otis Volume 1.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And then we're giving you the great, you got Welcome to Skull Tower on there. And this is all original from 40 years ago, and then the Runes of Doom. But then we're taking one more step and decided we're going to give you the Greg Espinozo, which is the exact same book, but it's all different artwork. So, and it's a special edition.
Yeah, I can't flip the back.
The first edition had a censored back cover that everyone wants to get their hands on, and that's the edition we put in this box set. And we threw some extras in there. We took a page from Matt's B&B box, so we put dice in there, character sheets. There's even an item and monster card. And what's beautiful about this set, again, talking about the bundle, you're getting Arduin and B&B together. So you're getting 2 of these box sets with all this cool material and a dungeon in the Arduin's box set, the Rancid Maw. And Matt has his Radiation Boogaloo printed, which is all the extra rules. And
oh my God, it's got more stuff.
Dracula in Space. Yeah, those are the 2 low magic and monster item card coming in the box. And again, this is stuff that was never in the original. And the character sheets, which are, a flip character sheet. And then, Matt, you've got your B&B box.
Yeah, I've got the old one, but Matt's got the new ones.
Yeah. Even his B&B set, it's limited edition. That is artwork. That artwork is 1 year older than Matt.
1 year younger.
Or 1 year younger,
wow.
Right? Yeah. We had that in the archives. So these are Matt's book.
Love that. Yeah.
And what he did is he got the parchment papers, so he mimicked the Arduin stuff. And even the artwork, like you see there, is Michio. We went into our archives and gave some artwork to Matt to use on the book. So you're looking at Arduin artwork right on the B&B books.
Nice.
And then, that's even Michio artwork. And then, of course, Dracula in Space.
Yeah.
And that's again, awesome. Nice. And he has character sheets. If you have some, Matt, there.
Yeah.
I'll go searching for in a second for him, but I do have the mixed character sheet right in front of me.
And then what we do is we give you 5 of these, guys, and they're called the Portal to Adventure Combined Character Sheet. And that's where Matt combined all 3 games where you can use any part of it. So you have an old school plethora, is what I want to say, of rules and options. And it's like 35, I think it's 35 races or 35 classes and 60 plus races.
Yeah, and some of the races too are still hidden throughout the grimoires for you to find, like the Thrune and the is it Thalestra? There's some in there that we don't even list that are technically hidden back in like the monster manual part of it.
Cool.
Yeah. So we got and this whole radioactive boogaloo starts off by telling you the easiest way to run all 3 games together, how to combine them into that character sheet, and walks you through character creation and all that to make it easy to understand.
So it's a cool, like I said, old school bundle that you can mix, match, use what you want. Legit, I don't want to sound like a sales pitch, but the amount of material you get in this bundle, 52% off is legit. It's $145. You're getting $304 retail, but we didn't even figure into the cost. Just so you know, the extra volume 1 doesn't play into that page count wise. The 800 plus pages is legit. But the modules, the Dracula in Space, the Rancid Maw, even the Boogaloo, the Radiation Boogaloo, those are normally $20, $25 books, and we didn't count those in to the actual cost of the bundle. So you're getting years of worth of material. And sometimes I just want to state for one thing, Roger, that people sometimes think, well, gee, there's a lot of stuff. I play my game in a certain way. You know what? Use what you want out of it. And what I mean by that is if you play a low fantasy, a Hyborian, a Conan type game, you can do it. If you want to do a Pendragon, an Arthurian game, you can do it. If you want to play a high fantasy, then you can do it. If you want to do a Lord of the Rings, you can do it. Or you want Thundar the Barbarian, and you want to add in elements of Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, you can go for it. So you can play as high as you want and as low as you want. So I just want that to be out there. And it goes to a philosophy, that Matt does a lot called the of games philosophy that we've embraced. Matt does. Mm-hmm. And that's what Arduin was back in the day with Dave Hargrave, the style of play that he did.
And you can come play it with us too. It's like right now we've got the Discord going, the Bears and Borderlands Game of Games Discord, and we've got 174 people in there right now, and they're all players in a ongoing. We kind of think about it like an MMO, but for TTRPGs. So we've got like 10 or 11 referees that are all running these characters in the same world, 1-to-1 time, and they're all interacting with each other, and it's big fun. So we'll be running this system. And since it's compatible with everything in the Kickstarter, I mean, you could have a character that's specific to one of the 3 games or a mixed character, and they can all travel together. So we play other games on there too.
Yeah, I've read some of the guides and stuff that you have on there, and it's a really great system that you got going on. It's kind of like I tried to kind of do some of that like with a smaller group, like locally. Trying to get more people to like drop in, drop out, real time, stuff. And just what you got going on there is absolutely fantastic. With all that stuff, I'd love to, talk to you about that, whether it's today or get you on again, to talk about it. But yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, ours started locally too, with about 20 to 30 folks here at the local game store, and I got to the point where I was running like 20 people at one table, and I say one table. We had to push like 4 or 5 of them together.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? This is gonna need somewhere else to host some of these games. We still run the in-person one as well, but now we've got players in Ireland and Australia and France. There's a guy in France right now that's doing a translation of the Barrows and Borderlands game just for fun. Nice. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this to I think George and Dave. It's been mentioned, and I've mentioned it to Jason knows this, Stan knows this. Like, I really love when you've got the fantasy and the science fiction, and there's no like hard line there. Like I always dislike it when you have like a game or any kind of fiction or whatever, and there's a hard line between the fantasy and sci-fi. And I get some people want to play fantasy or some people want to play sci-fi, but I love that stuff that's the Thundar the Barbarian or things like that just kind of it doesn't matter what crosses over into what anything else. It doesn't matter. It's just there. Who cares if a stormtrooper shows up and there's a guy with a sword or whatever? You just run with it, and it's great. And I know that Arduin leans heavily into that. And Barrows and Borderlands just seems to dive right into that stuff, and it's just fantastic. I love that. That's the RPG world that I want to live in.
My sales pitch usually to get people to come join our open game at the store is I say, you ever want to see Solomon Kane fighting a velociraptor with a ray gun? We'll come play at our table, and you've got it. So
Yeah,
that's
fantastic.
It is, and that's why this was such a natural fit, doing the whole thing with the three companies, because Tonsberg being an old mega dungeon, being one of the primal coming from Blackmore, which did mix some sci-fi into with the fantasy. And then you have Barrows and Borderlands with what Matt's been doing. It's funny, we've kind of joked around because I called it Arduin Jr. with Barrows and Borderlands. So it fits naturally because it has that weird fantasy element to it where you can mix and match. And it doesn't mean you have to throw it in all the time, but it doesn't stop you. It's funny you should say that, Roger, like with a stormtrooper, because I know Matt ran for his group when he was introducing them to Arduin. He ran Howling Tower, and of course, what's in one of the rooms is a stormtrooper with a laser gun that the party had to deal with. So it just fits like a glove, and it's fun because it's that extra element in the game where you can throw at players to throw them a curveball once in a while, throw that little bit of different cool element, but you can kind of keep it in check because just like anything else, with guns, you need bullets. Even with high-tech weapons, they need maintenance. Things break down. So there's always a limiting factor. You never have to worry that, oh my God, my game's going to get, completely out of whack. There's always a balancing factor.
I just gave my player a lightsaber, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, what's fun with a lightsaber is, especially if they're not in a Star Wars kind of world and they don't know, they're not trained to use the thing. Like if they crit fail, they lose an arm, or
especially
something.
With the Arduin tables.
Yeah.
we have one of the other things that makes this sort of a hit for our table is because our campaign is multiversal. So we travel to other universes already. So sometimes we want there to be more fantasy, more sci-fi, sometimes even none of each. We'll do, like, if I wanted to, using this system, because of all the gunnery rules in there, you could do like World War II and it'd be just fine. You could do true medieval fantasy. You don't have to add any of the sci-fi if you don't want it, for those that don't like mixing their chocolate and milk together. But
Sure. There's a rumor here, Matt, that says you're contemplating a trip up to
Who wrote that?
NY in June. Is that
that is true? I do
comment
plan on coming up, so that'll be lots of fun. These guys talked me into it. I guess I'll come hang out with some Yankees for a little while.
There you go. They talked me into it. I think they're like, as soon as I announced that it was going to be a thing, they jumped in, they got involved. I had a 3-hour phone call with George and Dave, and they were like, "Oh, we're in," and and I've mentioned this story before. I don't know if you know this, Matt, but they called me up and they're like, "Yeah, we want to do all this stuff. We're gonna have." We got 18 feet of banners and tables, and we're bringing all this stuff, and we got this huge truck. And I'm like, guys, it's my first year con. I'm expecting 150 people. What do And and they're like, no, we're all in. We're doing it. We're in it. And it was fantastic. It was just, it was just great seeing their setup and everything else. So
no, you guys were really kind to us, Roger. That it was sight unseen. And we're here talking, we're going to have all this stuff and, all these big custom displays. And I could just imagine you guys didn't know us. And you're like, who the heck are these guys? What are they? Are they going to show up and, have one little table with a little, cloth on it and that's it. So
it's okay. You were calling bullshit, Roger, until
yeah. So we were worried about that. I know you guys had no idea, but we're like, you know what, we're going to show up and do our thing. But it was tremendous. And Matt, you're going to have a really good time because the atmosphere at this convention is excellent. It's a small field con, and you get a lot of players, and the people that you had attending the convention were excellent. To me, just for observation, it's a third, and a third. You had a third of the people attending that were like the older gamers that knew how to game. You had a third that were like newer generation gamers, and then you had a third that were brand new and wanted to find out what this was. They had just a little taste of it. So my observation, you had that perfect mix, Roger, Jason, and everybody on this, that it was great to see it. A lot of people asking questions and just a great atmosphere. And you have all the games right there in one big room, right with the vendors. It was spectacular. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be in both ballrooms. We're opening up the second ballroom now, and we're going to have, it's not going to be so much split. Most of the stuff is still going to be in the main ballroom, but we're going to have some vendors and games and stuff going on in the other ballroom, just because we're out of space. That's, I don't want to blame anybody for taking up 20
Who are
of the
those
wall
people
space.
taking up
So
everything?
I won't, but
You just wait till I push some tables together. Run a big table.
that's all. Do it. Most of the game tables are round tables. So if you want to run, and I've got it set up for, I think for 8 players max at a table. But if you want to do something crazy and set up a bigger table and do 20 people or something,
We'll bring
We
15, 20 rectangular
We'll do
tables.
We had
Yeah.
15 or 20, or no, it was either 15 or 6 recently at Arnicon that showed up
nice.
to the 10-person game. So usually how it goes, though.
Yeah.
No,
that's fine. And let me know if you're going to come up, and we'll set something up, and we'll do we'll set it up for whatever, 15, 20, whatever you want to run, and we'll make sure that we got the space for it.
It's pretty spectacular how Matt runs. And I don't know, Matt, if you want to talk a little about how you run your games and how it amazed us when he talked how he mixes. People come playing different characters from different systems, and he runs them, even brand new players. But Matt, if you want to talk about that, I think it's fantastic.
When I start a table, I mean, we have like a core system. So right now it's Barrows and Borderlands, and will soon to be the Portal to Adventure. But people bring their characters from other games all the time, plop them down at the table. I mean, I played enough games that I know what they need to roll to get something done. And then if we have brand new people, like if we're at the open table game at the local store, I don't worry about telling them how to play the game. I just say, okay, well, you're yourself, and do you want to do spells or have a sword? And he'll go, tell me one of the two. And I go, okay, here's a big dice. I'll tell you when to roll it. You just worry about what you want to do. And then if they actually like the game and want to stick around and want to, they'll see someone else at the table running a mecha ronin, like a robot samurai, and they'll be like, okay, I want to be that thing next time. But starting off, it's like, okay, yeah, you're just yourself exploring the world, and we don't waste an hour in character creation for their first time playing a role-playing game. I'd say about 40 to 50% of our players have never played a role-playing game before.
Wow.
And so Barrows and Borderlands is usually their first one. We've got some guys that they had played like a session or two of 5th edition, and it wasn't for them, and so they didn't think that they liked role-playing games, and I convinced them to come play at the table. One of our referees and one of the guys on the Barrows and Borderlands team, John, who's on the Discord, as Bingus Boppus, but he has never played anything but Barrows and Borderlands. I guess, well, we did branch out for a while, and he's been playing some, like, I think he played some Traveler recently, and Hyperborea, and Empire of the Petal Throne. But he was having this whole discussion about 5th edition recently. He's like, "What? I don't get it. Like, what's so bad about the new edition?" I'm like, "There's nothing wrong with it necessarily. And he goes, "Okay." And then he goes, "Why are the armor classes bigger than, like, why is it bigger is better?" I'm like, he didn't even understand the ascending armor class stuff. But so he's got it lucky.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I've got, how do you handle people that want, like, that need like a set of rules? Like I've got a lot of players that can't play that way. Maybe can't's the wrong word, but won't. I have a hard time with it or whatever, because they need, a rule book. You know what I mean? To say, oh, this is this and this is this, and can't just do things off the fly. I don't want to, point anybody out, but
Well, I ask him every time you bake a cake, does it come out the exact same way every time? If the answer is no, then you should be fine with some variance here. But if you yourself want a set rule system, I'll go grab Macrease's Axe 2 and I'll say, here, if you don't like what I'm doing, you can fall back on this. But
so when I make my pumpkin pie, which I'll be doing tomorrow, by the way, it comes out the same every single time. So what you're saying is I'm screwed. Is that correct, Roger? Is that what I'm hearing? I'm able to be flexible. Thank you.
There you go. But
no, I know that.
I mean, we get some players that want it more set than others. We have those at the table, but we also have like 10 or 11 referees, and if they don't like the way I play in this campaign, they can go grab a different referee that they do like, because not all of our rules are the same. We had one guy asking, like, I joined a game that John was running, and he was trying to ask me questions about the rule system for Barrows and Borderlands. I do not know how to play this game. You're in John's game right now. So, you ask him. But and we mix other stuff in there too, like board games. We play a lot of board games, and we'll use them to represent something in the game world, like the dungeon board game. I'll plop those out before a session while we're waiting on people, and you can take the loot from the board game back if you win the game. And then I've brought this one up before, but like nuclear bombs, if you're disarming one, I'll put Jenga tower on the table and say, all right, you guys got to remove 10 blocks without falling over to get the bomb disarmed, and we'll just play like that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. I could see like for me that's enjoyable, and that's like what I want to do, but I could see losing like some of my players to that. It's just the off the cuff thing like that.
I think it's more a matter of being used to it. If a game, like C&C, if we're playing C&C, this is the rule set. I want to use this rule set. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to a different system that doesn't have that kind of rigid system, I'm okay. It takes a little bit to get used to, but I still want to check it out. It sounds great to me. So,
and and there's enough structure there that, like, what you're gonna have for your character if you're playing a fighting man, what you've got, what XP you need to level up, and the world itself that we play in has internal logic. So, it's sort of like the laws of physics for our world or whatever that we don't normally break. But I also don't mind too much giving players like powerful magic items, because we have like a 2 KD ratio for our game sessions, so they usually don't keep them very long. We've only got a few people that survive to the high levels of the game. They tell me my games are too hard. George and Dave were talking about, because they were seeing some of the dungeons that are in this Kickstarter, and I came up with a couple of the rooms for Rancid Mall, and they were like, how are they going to survive this place? I'm like, get good? I don't know.
Yeah, like reminiscent of like Tomb of Horrors type of thing, where you just save or die type of situations.
Yeah, well, a little bit of that. It's some wild stuff. I know I threw. I think one room has 12 gray horrors in it. They're asleep though. That might go fine, but
if they're asleep, that's fine.
Yeah, it went a little crazy. The modules, Dracula in Space, I think you have it rated 5th through 8th level.
Yeah,
Matt. Yeah, and Rancid Maw's 8th level plus. I think we forgot to put a 1 before each of those, so that may have been a little mistake on our part, but they are nuts. But to Matt's point with everything, and I know what you're saying, Jason, I don't want people to think like it's just a humongous fun house. Like Matt said, there is a structure to all the rules, and there's a definite core system in there. And what's great about the Portal to Adventure and everything we're doing, you can say something like, okay, we're going to play, if you want to, I'm going to play Barrows and Borderlands, and you could stick to that structure and say, okay, we're going to play a Vancian style spell system, and these are the classes. And there you go. You don't lose anything, and you can have a solid, because I know what you're saying, Jason. Sometimes it's like, I want to know that my feet are solid with the game I'm playing, that I know so I understand that, believe me.
And I usually also tell players ahead of time, they have some warning that things might get mixed in. But we've got right now we're testing out doing all 5 Magic systems in the Kickstarter at the same table, and that's been working great. So we've got some players that are running like mana point casters, and they're more rigid, and we're like, okay, this is like elvish magic, so it's more structured. And then you've got folks that are doing the roll to cast, like in Barrows and Borderlands, which is reminiscent of the chainmail casting system, but they there's a miscast possibility where they might spawn a black hole or age 30 years, who knows. And we'll just say, okay, well, you're chaos casting, and nobody seems to complain too much. At least we haven't run into any issues so far.
Yeah,
that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
And this is Joe. You guys remember Joe from the convention? He's been on the show a couple times. Yeah. He's been in the chat and stuff. So that's him. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him on the Discord.
Yeah.
Matt, post a link to the Discord or to the to where they can get into that. If put it in the private chat, and I can put it in the chat unless you're on the stream.
I can do that.
I don't know if you can post a link on the
actual stream. He says wait time. You guys wait for your games? We just do them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What characters?
Yeah. How do you handle turn order and stuff like and what's the?
Oh yeah. So I do old school, just D6 side base initiative. So
everybody kind of goes.
Yeah, our combats are really quick. We don't really have combats that last longer than, like, if it's a big fight, maybe 30 minutes. So I just go around the table and I'll say, all right, who's hitting with a weapon? Raise your hand. Okay, all of you roll your dice and roll your damage at the same time. I'll go, who's doing, obviously somebody gets like a crit, or if they hit, I'll throw some narration in there and make it sound cool. I'm not just doing numbers, but that way if somebody misses, we don't have to spend all of our time talking about how you missed with your sword attack. We just say, okay, you missed. But that way you really only have to focus on the guys that hit really cool, or they killed the monster and stuff like that. So, and then we just go back and forth. So usually it doesn't really matter how many people we have for combat. The only thing that matters when I get to tables of that size is you got to have a caller. You got to have somebody that has, like, they know the marching order of the party. They can look at me and just say, we're going into the next room, maybe a little deliberation, but and then, like when they're in towns and stuff, we kind of run it more like a Brownstein style game. So I'm not sitting there describing the shopkeeper to them. I'll just have them role play around the table. We do big brown paper tables with the whole area map drawn on them in marker, and we run it like a war game too. So some of the players have troops, and some players are at war with each other, and like the in-world economy is also run by the players, because I don't have time for all that. So we have a couple of them that run their own merchant guilds, and it's kind of all over the place, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I'm usually not a big online player. Usually, I like doing stuff at a table and all that. So
me too.
So I hope we can get you up to CNY. But I did join the Discord like last week or a few days ago. So I'm gonna jump on and maybe jump into a game or something like that at some point. So
I'd say that'd be fun.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah,
we've got some good ones planned, especially with all these new adventures I get to run people through. So
yeah, that's awesome. So were you using Arduin as part of the whole thing before this venture started, or?
No, I actually had never heard of Arduin when I made Barrows and Borderlands, and then a mutual friend of ours, Mark, I met him, and I met him because he was initially the first critic of my game, and I was like, well, here's my phone number, let's talk about it. Yeah, he ate into my game. But after the phone call, he was like, okay. And then he hit up George and Dave and said, you guys should meet this guy. And well, then I started learning what Arduin was. And I got to look at some of the books, and I was like, oh my God, these guys wanted me. They think I stole their game. Our worlds are so similar. And
you had met Griff earlier too. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I had met Griff at DaveCon. earlier in the year, my first convention that I'd ever been to, and then I gave him a copy of Bears and Borderlands. It's funny. I didn't want to give him a copy at first because it was my pre-draft and it was not proofread correctly yet, and I still had the box was like handmade and kind of cruddy, but he was like, "I'll take that." I was like, "Okay." And I thought he was going to eat into it once he got home. But no, he between Griff and Mark messaging y'all, that's how we got connected. Now I'm a big Arduin fan, especially since I see how well it fits into our game.
Yeah, there's just so much, like I said, that what Matt was developing, it was amazing how parallel it was to Arduin. It was like, wow, this is such a natural fit, because a lot of the things he was doing, it feeds into Arduin. It was in Arduin, even some of the concepts and things he had. And then once he started looking at the books, then it started expanding things. He's already instituting a bunch of things from Arduin, like the hit point system and so forth. And they're trying out a lot of different things with Arduin. And again, it's that mixing of the games that's really neat. And Matt really opened our eyes up to his game of games where, like he said, they play different games within the game, which is something that Hargrave talked about. The whole Swords and Dragons cards was a game that Hargrave developed for players to play within the game, a poker-like type of game that was a fantasy card game that they would play, and he would use other games too. But Matt took it to another level, and we're like, that's really interesting. Like you said, to play the Jenga if you're disarming, the bomb or the thing, or to play Dungeon, or to use some other game to represent, what's happening in the world, or, for that type of game. He has like a duel system. He has a jousting rules in there and so forth. So you mix different games and it keeps it fresh. It's not always the same. Now, we all have our favorite rule system or our favorite game, but how fun is it to have something else at the table that you can try and use? So this game of games philosophy is something we're embracing totally. I can see the future with this, that it's just a cool concept. And it amazes me with Matt. It still amazes me that he can have a table that he can run a game, and one person's running a 5e character, someone else is running a B&B, someone else is running an Arduin character, maybe someone else is running a Castles and Crusades character, and it's working fine. There's no issues. They each have their element on how they play, and it works, which I think is really neat.
And I do set some standardized things, like if we were to have other game system characters at the table, I might say, okay, well, we're going to pick one of the hit point systems to use so that everybody's got similar hit points. But then like we've worked in classes from like Hyperborea before, because somebody wanted to play the Necromancer class from there, and I said, okay, drop the hit dice down a size and you're good to go, and just let it run. And sometimes we wind up with characters that might be a little bit more powerful, but the monsters are pretty deadly, so they usually don't complain. Usually the players are like, yes, finally we have a Jedi in the party. And
of course, the Arduin crits and fumbles, that balance.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, putting those things in there, you never know. And like if we want to implement like a new mechanic, like with the hit points that we're trying out right now from Arduin, I usually do it one of two ways. Either I say like it's an option, so we'll run them both, or what we're doing with the hit points is it'll be like a world event. So right now there's a red comet hanging in the sky, and everybody's bodies feel different as well for as long as the comet's there. So if we wind up hating the rule, we'll say the comet leaves and everybody goes back to their normal hit points. Cool. Yeah, we do like an in-world thing.
That's a good idea to do it that way, to explain it.
People get mad when you change their stuff, so we usually don't try to change it. If it's not a change, it's just an add-on, then we just say, okay, here's another option over here. But if it is a change, we usually do something like that where it's temporary for a while, and then if people wind up liking it, we'll keep it. And you're not going to please everybody. All my high-level characters or players right now are pretty mad at me. Because all their hit points dropped a little bit, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, it's temporary. Maybe.
It's temporary until it isn't. Yeah. deal with gives them incentive to get a spacecraft and go deal with this errant comet. That's
a couple of them are hiding in their castles right now and playing their low-level characters. So.
Nice. That's cool. That is
Notice
really
an
cool.
uptick in people hiring mercenaries.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I definitely want to check that out, and I'd love to see it in action, someday, running a game and stuff. At CNY would be great.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll bring.
Just to throw
we'll
that out
run
there.
Rancid Mall up there, and everybody will have a good time.
That's why we convinced them to come, Roger. We want them to come for the CNYI, con, and also run some games. I think it would be great. So.
Yeah, no, the more the merrier. It's definitely it was a good time last year. Hopefully next year or this year. I keep saying last year. But and it was
only a couple months ago, really.
4 months ago at this point. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm full swing into planning 2026. That to me, the 2025 convention, even though it was 4 months ago, it seems like we're closer to 2026 than we are, to 2025's convention. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else or not, but
no, it's a weird feeling because it seems like it was a long time ago and it wasn't.
It does, yeah, and it was, a few months where it was like 4 months, and that's it. But yeah, even at the 2-month mark, it was like, nope, we're going forward. We're planning the next one and figuring that out, and we're headlong into that. So it's it's a great time. So this is cool. And the Kickstarter ends Thursday at midnight.
It's actually,
I guess,
Friday.
Friday.
12:01 Eastern time. So 1 minute after midnight on Halloween on Friday night.
That's fantastic. So. Yeah, that's cool. Did you plan it that way on purpose?
Yeah, well, we decided, we decided to do it for the whole month of October because when it came into being, it was a scramble. The way this whole thing came into being and trying to do it. So we're like, okay, we'll run it for all of October, right to the end of the month. And then that gives us enough time, hopefully right after in November to get all the Kickstarter stuff finalized and to get everything ready for shipping, which is a big deal. Matt's doing a ton of work because the books and the boxes, everything's being produced locally in the U.S.
right now.
Yeah, behind you can see.
There they are. That's the right there.
They're
all going on right there.
The so we've got a little head start on that, which is nice. And it's not like people are going to be waiting a year for us to write the dang thing. So
everything is ready to go. So that's what we're happy about. This everything's been produced. It's just being put together right now. We're waiting on a couple shipments of some things that we're getting, but overall everything will be ready to go. We pride ourselves on that too. We don't want people to do a Kickstarter and then you're waiting literally years, which amazes me, to get the product. We don't believe in that.
Yeah.
We have February 2026. That's just a stopgap, safe gap. Let's say we get flooded with orders or something major happens. So that's just an emergency. We plan to do it a lot sooner. We can't give an exact date, but we don't want people waiting a long time. And like I said, even with February, you're only talking 3 months, but we want to cut that short.
Yeah.
With the Kickstarter.
Yeah, if everything arrives here on time, then we're looking at hopefully getting it everybody's hands by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yep. And I get it. I see I back a lot of Kickstarters. We talked about this last week, and I was showing my page, and I've got 611, I think, Kickstarters that I backed, and then that doesn't even include backer kit. Or I have a problem. You do. yeah, you do.
You like and Fox Off RPG. Both of your
behind me is this behind me is just that's a small section of my shelves, and they're full, and there's more books everywhere. And I just cool books. I'm like, yes, have to have it, and I back it. But there's there's a lot of Kickstarters that go, you know, they say, okay, they're going to, deliver in November. And then it's, December, January, February, it's just goes on 6 months, a year, everything.
Yeah. It gets worse and worse. And then you get people grumbling, and it creates very bad vibes, I think, and credibility for people. And it gives Kickstarter a bad, name too. It's like, oh boy, people are gun shy then.
My wife's in the chat and heard that I backed 611 Kickstarters. So I don't know. I don't know if I can come out to play next week, guys.
Oh, that's funny. But as far as our Kickstarter, like behind the scenes, like Matt showed what he's doing, everything, like I said, is being produced that we can now. We're already in pretty much full production. Dave and I, we've got some nights of casting. So in the next couple weeks, we're going to do all the miniatures, get those all set. We've got some books coming in because we had to reorder, because truthfully on the back end, everybody ordered a ton of Arduin books. So we're like, just got our clocks cleaned. So we're getting more, but we're confident with everything, because even with the stretch goals, we made sure not to go overboard, because I think that's a problem with Kickstarters.
Yes.
Crazy
for
sure. They overpromise too much, and then they choke on it, because it's like, oh my God, they run out of funding. People's lives happen over that time period and things change. So you put yourself in a real bad predicament. And we're like, we don't want to do that. We want to knock this out of the park and then get everybody, like Dave said, if everything comes to fruition by the end of the year, we're looking at everybody having everything we, owe them on the Kickstarter and being good to go. But that was some of the important logistics that we planned out quickly, late August, early September. It was like, how are we going to produce? What are we doing? Taking a look at everything. And I want to talk a little bit just to the quality. The conversations we had is amazing. Like I said, how many hours of staple conversations?
3 days. 3 days of staple conversation.
Talking about staples that we did, because we're like, okay, these are old school. They're staple bound books. But we're like, okay, Matt, what can we do? Okay, we want the stainless steel, the longer staples, so that they cover well and they give longevity. And then for Matt, I know he's grabbing it right now.
Town,
and we're like, we need a stapler, right, Matt?
Yeah. It's a size. It's twice the size of my head. I mean, all of the Arduin and B&B books are handmade. So I make them here. I put the labels on the box myself, and then and then every other part of this kicks, like the character sheets, the item and monster cards, all that stuff. We print right here, and so we wanted to make sure that everything was as good as it could be and consistent, because I know with like handmade stuff is awesome to have, but there's lots of steps to be taken to make sure that there aren't like two books that look different and stuff like that. So
a couple of weeks ago, after the show, because after the show we kind of hang out for a while, and the 3 or 4 of us will sit there and BS for another 3 hours sometimes, but whatever. And a couple of weeks ago, I was showing Roger and Ducato Stan my copy of Recon by Palladium. It's one of the first non-D&D RPGs I ever played. I played it when I was a kid in high school. I absolutely adore the game. And I showed him and also Bushido is another game that I absolutely love. Yeah, see, that's the right reaction right there, man. Yeah. Nobody knows about this game, but it's amazing.
Yeah, we played a lot of that once.
But I opened it up and I showed it to him, and it's all hand typed, and the book is stapled. And I was like, this is love. The people that made this love this game. They put their heart and soul into it. So, you're showing us that stapler, and you guys are talking, 3 hours talking about what stapler we're going to use. That really means a lot to me, because you didn't hand it off to China to mass print, or with no real oversight over it. You're looking at every single thing that goes into this, and that just that's beautiful. Love it.
Yeah. The paper too, like we made sure. So what we did first was say, okay, well, what exact paper did they use in 1977 to print the Arduin grimoires?
Yeah.
And we figured that out, and then we went, okay, now how do we make it last longer than 50 years while still feeling exactly the same as this paper? So we did linen paper for the innards. It's still 24 pound, so it's still consistent with the originals, but it's nicer. It'll last longer. And then the covers too, they're all 90-pound thick stock. And
Wrong button.
I don't know if you can see
I'm still learning
the paper. Yeah, I won't really tell too much, but it's got a little built-in yellowing to it, so it's natural white. And then I slow print everything so that nothing comes out with like weird streak marks or anything like that.
What do you use to print? What are you printing with? Is it just a laser printer or
inkjet? I know it's all blurry right now, but it's this guy back here.
Okay.
And it's just a big inkjet printer. I found that when I was testing out my prints for Barrows and Borderlands, I didn't like the feel of the laser printers because it felt right when they were inkjet. It takes longer, but it looks better. And then, it
has that feel. The laser, it like melts the toner or something to the page, and it feels like raised, and like the letters like are stuck on the page.
And sometimes
like the inkjet, like it absorbs in.
Yeah, it absorbs in, and then certain papers, like if you get really good paper, sometimes that laser printer, you can like rub the toner off of it over time. And I didn't want that to happen to these, so. And I mean the art too. Like we've got all the new art from for Barrows of Borderlands from Michio Akamura, and this one was Castle Grief did this one for me. It's exactly what I was saying earlier. I wanted Solomon Kane fighting a Velociraptor with a ray gun.
Yeah, I love that art. I saw that on the website. I love it.
Yeah.
I was very happy with that one, and then like some of the art in this book is like my sister, and then some of my players' brothers and stuff. Like we just kind of went around and said, who that can draw, and let's and then the Arduin art's obviously iconic. So
and again, no, like you said, Jason, it's a labor of love. This whole thing, every step of this, we were like, we could have gone cheap, we could have made a cut, and we're like, no, we're gonna do this as best. I mean, my God, we even got Matt a press, a professional book press, so that we could press the books, just to kind of make them.
Nice.
There you go. Press.
We went through every part. And even on our end, we were like, okay, we're going to make sure, with the art prints, the maps that Dave and the miniatures, we're going to be casting those. We were like, every piece of this, we want it just so that it's quality and you're getting a lot. You feel like this bundle, when it's all said and done, and I'm going to talk about the box itself. We just recently did some tests by some shipments that we have for reviews and to ourselves. The thing is 10 pounds almost when you lift this with the two box sets and the Tonsberg and everything else. So you feel it when you have this. But even the box itself, when this whole thing came to fruition, Dave, I got to give a lot of credit to, because he's like, let's take it to the next level. And that's when that box that you see on the Kickstarter, there's a little video that shows you. We spent a whole weekend, 3 days, with our art director, Roland Brown, and we put together this custom box. We talked to Matt. Yep, there you go. And we talked to Matt and Griff and got it. So you have custom artwork all around. Those are images, our custom artwork that we made. And the columns there we got from Matt and Griff about the company, about their products. You have 3 companies with all the information. And this is all on the bottom of the box. Like every little bit of the box, we're like, we want to add something cool, Howl themed art. And then you go from the cover, Dave, if you want to show the inside.
There's more.
There's more. Here's the inside cover.
Oh, wow.
And if you look at that picture, it gives you a summary of what's in the box. And those characters are the same characters on the front of the box. So it's like they're in the tower. And then even the bottom of the box. Yeah, if you want to go up with it a little, Dave. Or, yeah, like that. Perfect. Move over a little bit. Perfect.
Take a troll to lunch.
Yep. It's an iconic statement from
Yeah,
Dave. That's
Dave,
on the bottom of the box. So we wanted to give you everything. Every piece of this is like, we want to give you a box that you're like, this is really cool.
This is just 12 inches, just to give you an idea of the size of the box. So,
yeah.
So
and everything in the Kickstarter is going to come in this box.
Yes. Everything
okay.
Except the only things that won't fit in there from the stretch goals are the miniatures. There's not enough room to put the miniatures in there. The Arduin Adventure will fit in there, but the miniatures won't. But everything else fits in perfect. And
I don't think you said anything about the Arduin Adventure yet. So
what?
Yeah, from the stretch goal.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it on the show yet. So
yeah, I did earlier.
Yeah, no, I did earlier.
Yeah,
so the Arduin Adventure, and of course, to give you guys, if you don't mind, if I can backtrack. And I've said this a couple times, the quick story on how this whole thing came to being, because this is always funny. We met Matt in July. And of course, Griff, we've been working with Griff a while. He's been doing interviews for us on the back end. So we met Matt. And after a couple months, we found out how he was doing the boxes and he had all that. So Dave asked me, he said, why don't you talk to Matt? Maybe we could get some of these boxes and those would be perfect for people to put their Arduin books because they fit perfectly in there. I'm like, sure. Maybe we can talk to Matt. And he said, like for the Arduin trilogy, how, you have the books in the box. So I took that and I'm like, yeah, the trilogy box set. So I go back, start talking to Matt. And before you know it, I forgot how long it was, Matt, like in one whole night, all of a sudden we talked about the design, some of the preliminaries, how we could get the books redone. So I go back to Dave and I'm like, hey, we're good to go. Matt and I talked.
And I already printed a test copy that same night.
That same night, he printed a test copy right then and there. And I'm like, you know what? This is good to go. So I go back to Dave and say, we're good to go. We can reprint the books and we can do the box set. And he's looking at me like I have 3 heads. And he's like, what the heck are you talking about? He was like, what are you doing? He was like, all I told you was we want empty boxes that we could get to our people. And I'm like, no, we're reprinting the books, I thought. So this whole Kickstarter started from there. Dave's still shaking his head about this whole thing because but we went from there, and then we're like, okay, well, if we do that, and then Dave's like, okay, why don't we take it another step? And he's like, why don't we talk to Griff and Matt, and why don't we do a combo? Griff has the Lost Dungeons at Tossenberg. Matt has his box set. What if we do a dual box set in Tonnesburg? So we're like, okay, that's cool. So then we started talking. Griff was on board. Matt was. And then we took it one more step further because when we were initially talking, and this is September, we're like, well, how do we do the pre-orders? How much do we know? And Dave's like, why don't we just do a Kickstarter? Now we know how much, what we need to do.
Yeah.
And we'll boom. And then within 3 weeks, we put together everything. Like I said, we went through all the staple conversations, the paper, the inner paper, the linen paper. We talked about the extras, the maps we're putting in, the cards, the combined. And then Matt's like, I'll do a compatibility guy with the Boogaloo. And then we'll do a dungeon. I'll do Dracula in Space. And then I was like,
I was gonna say too, and part of that was Dave having to rescan all of the original artwork and pages that were written by Hargrave, because a lot of the current scans we had were like, or I think Dave was the one that brought it up, was like, I think he Xeroxed these at a certain point, because you can kind of tell.
Definitely, there's some documentation I have to that effect somewhere.
So Dave went back and found some of the original plates and stuff, and we scanned them in, and so every single page of every single book I went through in Photoshop and cleaned up, and I didn't add any words or anything. We added a page number here and there where one was missing, and then made the text slightly bigger, so less margins, and then one page at a time in Photoshop.
Matt even went to the point he found what font that Dave Hargrave, the exact style and font that he used. And we cleaned up certain sections that were really bad that you couldn't read well, so that we cleared those up. And like Matt said, a couple extra page numbers. Other than copyright and trademark, it's all original text. Dave did find some, thank God, some archives. We had some original artwork. So all we did was replace the original artwork to make it better. Other than that, everything is as is. So again, that attention to detail, right down to the, the smallest little thing we went to. And again, this was done within a month. And the last bit of this story, so we're like, okay, we're going to do a Kickstarter. Well, the real kicker for me was literally September 30th, that night, and we're getting ready to launch the Kickstarter at midnight on October 1st, and I'm scrambling. And that same day, Dave comes to me and goes, we got to add one more thing. We got to do another tier. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, we got to add this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? A premier case? He's like, we need a premier case to put Kickstarter that has a magnetic top that protects. It's UV resistant to put our beautiful bundle in, so it'll be like a museum piece. So last second, I'm sitting there scrambling to try to get the Kickstarter together that night, and I'm literally 15 minutes away, and I'm putting the pricing, doing all this. I literally finish 1 minute before midnight, and I'm able to launch the Kickstarter within the midnight minute to get it going, and that's how the whole Kickstarter. But again, it was a scramble, but it's a great idea. Even the protective cases, to tell you the truth, guys, it's hard to say because, we're on video here. And at first I was like, come on, a premier case was once I got it and you stick the box in and you're holding it, it's like, this is pretty cool. It's a real cool feel. And you know what? I think it's something beautiful that you have on a shelf, and the custom box will fit in there perfectly.
Yeah, so nice. That's definitely cool. I think it'll look really cool in the plastic and in the acrylic there on the shelf. Mm-hmm. All the books will be out. All of mine will be out, and they'll be sitting at the table. But it'll just be an empty box in there, but it'll look good. Or I'll have to buy 2 copies, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's already at 600 plus. What's another one?
Yeah. It's yeah, right. So it's amazing to me that Matt, you went through all these all the old documents, the pages and everything in Photoshop stuff, because I've bought some modules. You get some of the old modules on drive-through, the old TSR modules and stuff, and they're scans. That's all they are.
Terrible copies.
Terrible scans. Yeah. Like you could see the creases in the paper and stuff. They didn't even edit that out, or you could see, the paper was so thin, and when they scanned it, and it was like too bright, so you could see the reverse lettering from the back side of the paper and all that stuff. And so, you doing that that's better than, Hasbro at this point. So I do
hobby restoration stuff for fun. So a lot of those old modules, like, okay, so I'm only 26. So there was the original D&D for me was the only option was buying the PDF. So
sure.
Yeah, right. But like with my PDFs that I have for OD&D, I went in and changed % layered back to % liar, as it should be. And actually that one was help from Dungeon Delver. He's like, you should have % liar in there. But like I do restoration stuff on my own things that I run at the table. But so for me, I was like, if we're going to do this, it's going to look perfect. It's going to look right.
It was a natural fit again with us, because we're very particular about the quality, and Matt had that energy already with him about making things just so it was perfect. And again, we went crazy. Dave kept like, I think I can find us original artwork in the archives. He even took the books. I had to run over to his house with my own books. We were tearing through like, it's okay, is this an original first print? We're going to take the staples out. We're going to, rescan it at a high level, get it to Matt, and then Matt's taking it, cleaning it up. And again, it was days and days very particular work and a labor of love, of passion that
and
went into this, because we want everybody, when they open this, we want them to have that, oh wow,
that feeling.
Yeah, that feeling.
So one of the things we did do though is once we made sure that it was perfect to the original, or as close as we could possibly get it to be, then we said, okay, well now we got to slap the copyright on the front, and then we've got to make the box look different so that people don't try and sell these on eBay as originals. So that was step number 2 once we got them looking right. So that's why the original Arduin Trilogy box was black with the green wizard on the front, and it was like black, green, and red, kind of Christmas colors. But and then with this one we did the parchment look over the wood grain texture, and then we got the back on there too.
Yeah.
So and we've got the contents for the new stuff we got in there. But so it was a lot of fun to work on. I mean, it took a while, but I say it took a while, it took a month, but that was a month of like 14-hour days of going through files until 4 a.m. with George and Dave on the phone, and back and forth. And then as soon as we did that, I also, we had to do the same treatment for the Barrows and Borderlands stuff, because we were putting the new artwork in there. And then adding in, like, for the Radioactive Boogaloo, which is another 88 pages of rules that go for Barrows and Borderlands, and has the compatibility guide in it. All of that was put together, a little bit of new art in that one too. And so, it was a lot of just back and forth over the phone and looking at files, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah. And what was fun is with the boxes, like with the B&B cover, and I know we touched on it, it was artwork that we got done in 2000 from Laura. Her name is Laura Darkstorm Church is her name. And she did this artwork for us, and it was something that Dave pulled out, and we completely forgot we had this sitting. And it's funny because Matt's 1 year older than this artwork. But what? Yeah, isn't that amazing? And what's perfect about this is you have the older Arduin wizard there to the right, and now you've got the younger wizard on the Barrows and Borderlands, and it's just such a great synergy to it. And I believe way back when, Dave, when we did that, I think our thought is to do something with a box set. So that was a homage to the old box set. And guess what? It sat for 25 years in the archives, and they say things happen for a reason. And this was the perfect thing, because when Matt and we got this idea, let's look at it. And as soon as Matt said that, he said, "Oh, can I use that?" And then he started seeing the Michio stuff, and it's like, okay, let's start, mixing.
So funny thing. I don't know if George and Dave know this, but when they were sending me the scans for the restoration stuff, and we were looking at art in there, I looked at Shay, my fiance, and I saw that wizard on there. I'm like, you don't think they'd let me use that on the cover, do you? I'm gonna see if they would. And so then that was immediately I was texting George Dave like, man, that's a really cool artwork right there. That's a really good one. What are y'all using that for? But
I feel bad we never used it originally. It was
it's pretty cool.
It's really awesome. And like I said, we probably had the intent back then to do something, and unfortunately it never got to the table to be used for something. But you know what? It's perfect for now. So we're more than happy to have it with B&B right there. And like I said, I love the idea when you open that custom box, you got those two staring at you.
Oh, look at there.
You got to flip that around.
Can you flip your camera?
Yeah, give me just a moment. Sorry. This is my moment where I share Ducato. Frozen pizza is the height of my technology there. Give me a minute. There it is. Mirror. There we go.
Hey,
there you go.
Okay.
Reality warping.
Now we just have to get it to focus.
There it is.
Yay, look at that.
There it is.
Oh, perfect. There.
That is when
June
CMO
12th.
icon is.
June 12th to 14th. It is just outside of Utica, New York. Yep. In June, it is the weekend after North Texas. Chancellor.
Who did the artwork on that one? Because that's pretty cool. Makes me think
that was I'm blanking on his name now. Mikey Woods.
Okay.
Mikey Woods. He's a friend. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it feels like Scooby Doo meets the old D&D show.
It does, yeah. And if you look up some of his stuff, all of his art kind of looks like that. It was really cool, and he is a friend of a local comic book shop, Ravenswood. The owner there, I guess he used to live around here, and then now he's, I think, in Pennsylvania somewhere. But yeah, so he like contacted him and said, "Hey, can you draw this art?" So he's doing this old school convention, and he sent that art over, and I was like in love with it. I was like, "This is fantastic." I love it because I wanted it to look like an old school module. That was the whole thing, and it it did, and
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, I have several questions for you guys. While there's a lull, you have mentioned the archives, and I've watched a lot of the podcasts that you guys have been on. So I'm trying to ask stuff that I haven't heard get asked before.
Okay.
You guys have mentioned the archives a lot, and you've talked about the art being 25 years old. How did you? I mean, the archives are Dave Hargrave's stuff. I mean, like I pictured this being like in an old Army footlocker that was sitting in an attic somewhere. So how did you come to own this stuff? What made you say, "Holy crap, this is amazing. I'm going to hang on to this for 2.5 decades, and then we're going to do this huge explosion and push it out to the public"?
George could continue on that, but there is an old Army footlocker, ironically, that Dave Hargrave's nephew had from his Army days, and it is filled with letters and miniatures and gaming stuff.
Awesome. But George, I know he was a combat photographer in Vietnam. He was in the Army for 6 years. I read all about him.
Yeah.
And so after you answered my previous question, that's going to lead me to another question that I have for you. So please continue.
Yeah. So Dave's right. Jason, you did hit it. Jared Hargrave, who I've been in contact with, who's great nephew of Dave Hargrave, has a footlocker of Dave Hargrave letters to his mom when he was in the military in Vietnam, and other things from Dave's gaming day. And we're in contact with other family members, Michael from Los Angeles. And we've been talking to some different people, players, Ethan Karp, who's been one of his forums. So we have other contacts with players that Andy Rodriguez, couple others.
Griff has been doing a lot of the interviews.
Yeah, we
cool.
Just as a quick interjection, we're doing a video series, a documentary about Dave Hargrave, similar to Secrets of Black. I mean, not at that level, but just our own thing on Zooms with interviews of people, even some industry people who were D&D game designers, who Arduin was their passion and was their influence on a lot of things. But anyways, when we talk about archives, it's the material not only we get from the family, but over the last 27 years that we've been doing this, we've been incorporated since 1998. What we've done, Jason, is when we've come across people, old players, family members that have things, we've done our best. We've compensated people. We've done whatever we can to collect unpublished material that Dave Hargrave has. And to that effect, we've also spent, even recently in the last 4 years, I can't tell you how much, tens of thousands for artwork. And what we're about is we do a build up on things where we'll build, we'll store away, and then get to a point. It's almost like a military when you're building up for an offensive. You build, you get the supplies, everything, the ammunition, everything you need up for that offensive. And literally, 2.5 decades. The past 27 years, we've been collecting Dave Hargrave dungeons, item cards, notes, just things about him that we can find. So we have about, give or take, 150 dungeons that Dave Hargrave had in different states. They could be more developed or descriptive. We have thousands of item cards, hand-drawn, cards with descriptions of items and things. We have some character sheets, about 40, 50 of original character sheets that we have from him. Some of the original maps, these maps we created, we've recently got, what was it, the Arduin 2 map, Dave, that big one that's like on board.
From his Arduin 2 campaign.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was hand painted. It's gigantic.
Jeez.
So we've done an archive of this.
And we've remastered it already. It's almost done.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're in the process. Dave here has been working on maps and maps. Matt will know a little bit because we've shown him some of the archive maps and continents that we have. I know I'm going off here, but there's just so much. I mean, shoebox is full of item cards, 3x5 index cards from this guy's life, from his games. So we've been collecting, and you're right. It's amazing, Jason, because that artwork that we gave to Matt to use for the B&B box, we wanted to use it, and it didn't happen. But lo and behold, literally 2.5 decades later, it comes into play, and it's a perfect fit for this time now. So that's what we keep doing. Yeah. And even now for the future, and we'll talk a little bit about later on this with ABA Arduin, Bloody Arduin, we literally have hundreds of pieces of artwork that we have stored up, that we're building and building, things being written behind the scenes that we're building and building. That's just how we are. We build and build to get to that point. So just to let you know.
Man, that's wild. So I have more questions if you guys don't mind.
Absolutely.
And Roger, if that's okay with you.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I know I talk a lot.
No, you are telling me, you are answering the question that I asked. I'm delighted to hear you talk about it. So I was one of the guys that had never heard of Arduin until I walked into the con, the night before, and you guys were setting it up, and I was like, wow, what is this? And that was when I met George, and he just started going 100 miles an hour about Arduin. And I was like, okay. And he said, I know you got things to do. I don't want to chew your ear off. I was like, no, man, lay it on me. This is really interesting. And, Roger has talked about like my love of rules. I'm a rules lawyer. I can't help that. I try not to be, but yes. And it annoys me when you violate those rules. But a system that is loose to the rules, I'm really okay with that. And this, I think it was White Plume Mountain, the old TSR module where or maybe it was Barrier Peaks, but because they were coinciding. But anyway, you find the UFO, and
Barrier Peaks.
And there's a ray gun in it. And I remember being a kid, and I read that, and I was like, I don't know. But then you only have like 5 shots with this thing, and then it's a club after that. You can't do anything with it. So I was like, okay, well, that could be kind of cool. And that's what Matt was talking about, limiting the ammo. So I really liked Arduin. I liked everything you told me about it. And so I was just really amazed by it. And then your infectious energy about it. You were just like 100% in. And so, like I was saying earlier about, the staples and all that, I just think that's great. So that story time's over. The next day, Roger and I came in. The morning we came in, and you guys had set everything up. And I was looking at the small map, or the blow up of the lake, that main lake in the center. And I was looking, and I was like, man, the cartography on this is amazing, because I'm a nut for cartography. And I was looking at it, and then I glanced at the other map, and I was like, wait a minute, that lake is in that map. And so then I asked, I was like, hey, is this to blow up that? And I don't remember who I was talking to. It was one of you guys. And I said, is this lake, a blow up of this? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, holy crap. Okay, I'm in. I don't really care about the rest of it. I want one of everything. And so now that finally leads me to my question. That is this map here. And it's way too big to fit in frame, which says, well, I think it's maybe 4 feet, 3.5 feet. It's huge.
Yeah, so you got to get a bigger frame.
Yeah, so that's the one that I saw. and then that's it. That's the map.
That's awesome.
So That exactly. And I was like, holy crap, that's awesome. So who's the cartographer? What system, what mapping program did you use? And I'm assuming that at some point Hargrave hand drew this map or parts of it.
So we believe, and actually, since I'm in the middle of packaging stuff for the Kickstarter, we believe this is one of the early Hargrave maps of that. There you go.
Oh, is that a photocopy or is that the original?
This is a copy of the of a hand drawn one from Hargrave that's in the Kickstarter, and it's on stock paper, a heavier stock paper with a soft touch.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Then the map that you're referring to is actually based off of his larger map, which is about the size of that, the larger one that you were just holding up. Somebody, we were informed who it was at the time, but I won't say, but they cut the map in half and it's mounted on like artboard.
Oh,
it's kind of not in great shape. It's not the worst. And we took that, and that's where we based off that first parchment map you have there off of it. And actually, that first parchment map was based off of photographs of the Hargrave map. We didn't even have the original at the time. So that parchment map was done by Lou Ione, who is a graphic artist here. George and Lou worked together every single night. And I think Lou did that thing in like 2 weeks or a week.
Yeah.
And that was all done in Photoshop in like the year 1999 or 2000.
Yeah.
And Lou created all the icons on it, I believe. I think he did them all by hand.
Yeah.
And he had to use a magnifier glass because all we had at the time were small pieces of photograph, like, 6 inches by 3 inches. And he needed a loop to read anything he could, which a lot of it's not that easy to read on there. And there was literally like 150 photographs he had to piece together to try and read it. And we just kind of said, here, get this done. We need it done now. And then that went to a professional printer out here in New York who printed it and found us the paper. And he showed us the paper samples and we looked at it. And we said, we want this paper. And he's like, I cannot guarantee you how this paper is going to come out. He's like, the print and the ink might not come out good on it because it's this parchment like. Mm-hmm. And we're like, we don't care, do it. So we ordered a lot. So we had a huge stockpile of those. And then when we came back around now to the new map, we had since acquired the original Arduin map that Hargrave did, which is the one that's mounted on the cardstock. And Lou was very accurate, and we had to do was a little blending with the continent map that Hargrave did because there's a couple little nuances that are different. Like there's another river that he added into Arduin that wasn't on the original map. That's why they're a little different. And we took that, and it was very difficult to find a cartographer. So there was a lot of looking and a lot of talking. And we decided to use a commercial program that does it, that anybody can get. And it's actually done in Campaign Cartographer.
No kidding.
Plus.
I used to have that.
Yeah.
That CAD program was kicking the crap out of me, though. I finally gave up on it.
Yeah, it's I can do stuff in it now. I'm certainly not at the level of that map, but I found a guy, Quentin, and Quentin did the maps. He's out in Australia.
Wow.
And he wanted to actually probably kill me as far as the nitpicking on it, because I kept saying this has to change. We got to change this name. I need time to go through it. It was a long process. And eventually it started getting better. And then I had finally gone through all the dungeons, and all the dungeons that Hargrave did, a lot of them write exactly where they're located. And he doesn't have them located on the map. The ones that the large map that he did. So I took that and I had to start locating all of these. So we had to create a huge index of everything that was on the map. Mm-hmm. And then I said, okay, Quentin, we got to add another 100, 150 locations. and most of them are dungeons. And that's why this map has more dungeons than the original, is because they weren't on the original, but they are on Hargrave's original dungeons, written as to where their location is.
Yeah.
And as far as the continent map, that continent map is based completely off of Hargrave's last continent map that he created before he died. And that map has 2,300 names on it. The Arduin map that you were just holding up has, I think, about 1,300. Is it, George? Something like that? Something
I
like
thought
that.
it was way more than that. Wasn't it 3,300?
I think the Arduin map you're holding up has about 1,300 names.
Yeah, 1,337.
And the continent map has about a little over 2,300, of which most of them were very difficult to read. It took me, good thing I had a foot surgery at the time, so all I did was sit there with a loop for 12 hours a day, just trying to figure it out. I bought lots of magnifiers and all kinds of loops, and now I wear glasses. If I could have taken it to work, there were ways to read it from the paper on the side and stuff, but I couldn't go to work. I was out. So that's how that one kind of came into being. And then the continent map, we had hired William Watt to paint, and that took, he would disagree, but he's passed, so I can't say anything bad. We know it took at least 10 years to paint that thing.
Jeez.
And it sat in his living room over and over, and he repainted it at least twice, because at one point it sat there for so long that it started to yellow. And then when he got back to it, he's like, I just got to repaint the whole thing now. And he would start all over from scratch and redraw the whole thing.
It's just Mona Lisa. This isn't quite right.
Yeah. I will tell you this, that Bill told me that that's the piece he's the most proud of that he's ever done. Wow. And so mostly he did sculpting, and he did have a house full of paintings that he did that were pretty amazing, of cougars and birds. And
it was cool what he had.
Wow.
But just so the synopsis on this whole thing, Jason, to give everyone a perspective, the little map that's in the art prints that come with the Kickstarter, and I know you guys have seen them from the last convention, was the initial one. Yes, exactly.
That's that one there.
One that was his initial design. And then from there, he did a bigger version, which Dave said we took pictures of, and that's when Lou did the yellowish parchment one that you showed there that, Jason, we have the smaller.
We were actually given pictures. We didn't even take them.
We just had pictures that were given. So that was from 2000. And then you eventually come to now, where Dave took years, the map behind us, the one that you showed, the bigger one, Jason, which has 1,300 entries, which was meticulous. Dave took years with Quentin going through the names, the quadrants, everything. So that was a labor. So you look at, again, a 25-year span of two different versions of the map to where it's evolved. And then at the same point, 12 years ago, I want to say 12 years, I thought it was 12 for Watt, to paint the continent map. The map's hand painted. He even, because it's in the same style, he did this, the island one, the smaller one, all hand painted. He took time. Even the little pieces, the monsters, the ships, all the little side stuff, he individually painted, and then we put it on the map. So that
those are all individual paintings that are
all small ones. So again, 12 years to put that together, and then you have the continent map. And just like from the convention, we had the big banners that had the continent map, and Arduin was this 3-inch little circle with the lake, like you said, in the middle, and the map behind Dave and the map you showed is the blown up version. So again, 2.5 decades of love, of work, like Dave said, weeks and months, magnifying glass. And I was there with Lou with the initial one. He'd be there every night after work. I'd go visit him to help out. He'd have this big ass magnifying glass, and he's looking, because the Hargrave used red, unfortunately, which was, fades away. So, but just to give you,
and the continent map was all the layout for the flags and everything was all Bill Watt. He came up with the concept for all the pictures around it and all the flags around it and the vines.
Yeah.
I think the only credit I could take on that is I wanted a lot of the icons in there, like the ships battling it out and the whales, but he's the one who made it happen. So.
And one more thing, so I don't want to forget, all around the continent map are flags. And those flags, the one edition, Shadow's son, Jackie, who was in vexillology, developed the flags for each country and regional. There's a whole history how flags are developed, like regions, even on real world. Mm-hmm. Flag colorations are the same in the same region.
Yeah, I worked with Jackie quite a bit over the summer that he lost his life on making those flags, and I think everybody should be grateful to Jackie for doing that. Like, he made something special happen there. I learned a lot on vexillology.
Yeah.
I mean, prior to even knowing that, God, who has vexillology as a hobby? Probably a handful of people.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy, I think in Scotland, to try and do these, and he does historical flags, and he really was not interested in doing fantasy.
Yeah. So, we Jackie,
just so happened we were talking to Shadow and his son, Jackie, and wow, well, there you go. All of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, my son does that as a hobby." Yeah. Really?
17 years old, and this kid did that. It was amazing, and the flags are awesome. And every country is named on there. So there's the long answer, Jason, to the whole map thing. But yes.
And they have the reference coordinates next to their name.
Yeah.
So you can
Greg had a question in the chat about what makes Arduin special in your mind. Matt, I think in the chat, kind of went back and forth with him a little bit on that there. Now he had to go. He's got some issues with his kid or something they had to take care of. So I don't know if he'll watch this later. But for anybody else, I mean, I think it's a great question. What makes I guess more for George and Dave. I know Matt, you answered it in the chat, but you're more than welcome to jump in also. But what makes Arduin special in your mind, guys? Like,
I mean, I'll try and sum up my version real quick. Because George likes to talk. I don't.
Go ahead, Dave.
But, I think it was eye-opening at the time, and I actually feel it's still eye-opening. And what I mean by eye-opening is the first book we had was Arduin Grimoire 4, which had dirty dorgs, like how to serve up a hobbit, on a platter, how to catch a demon, and get them cooked and pay for that, to special weapons that you just didn't see in other games. Gangs, it had all the liquors and things that it's just real life it brought to the table. And proof's in the pudding, because most games that came out after have borrowed from it. Like I wrote in the comments, asked George about the Errol Otis and the White Plume Mountain.
I saw that. I'll talk
it's just it brought real life to the game. Interesting real life too. And that's it, because I don't talk much, so that's on George.
And I'll talk to it, and I'll even have Matt talk to it a little bit. But with Arduin, I think what makes Arduin special is the ability, and I've said this before, where it's a canvas that you can color as much as you want and fill in as much as you want, and the only limit is your imagination. And I know you could say, well, any role play game you have that, but Arduin is special in that it goes back to everything we were talking about before. You can put whatever you want in there and it works. I think the special thing with Arduin is it doesn't break down. How many games that you play, you know what? Once you reach 10th level, you're done, because the characters get completely out of whack. It breaks down. The game can't handle the level of spells, the power level. It just breaks the system because it's not used to that. If you throw too many machine guns or lasers in, it breaks the system. It's not meant to be like that. And I'm not disparaging systems that are specific to genres. Those are great. But the strength of Arduin was Dave Hargrave never would say no. He would say, why not? And why not can't we have a stormtrooper? Why can't we have a TIE fighter in the game? Why can't we have a robot? Why can't we have a Cthulhu creature in there? Why can't we have a gunslinger, a Western gunslinger in the game? So it's the openness of the game that you can put in what you want. And again, you can do a standard high fantasy, even a Hyborian type, but you can throw in that Thunder the Barbarian element if you want. Some weird piece of technology in the game, that weirdness to the game that can be added without worrying about the system breaking down. Because I truly believe you can't do that with everything, or for the GM, it's going to take a lot of work to do it. Where with Arduin, it's naturally already embedded in the game and in the system itself. So it's that versatility that you have with Arduin that's extremely strong. And the things that Arduin brought to the table, which I could get into the history of where Arduin was one of the primal RPGs, where a lot of the gaming industry took from. Maybe people don't realize it, but a lot of the concepts were there in Arduin and came from there.
And nice. To add to that, so I have a few things that I really like about Arduin. And being somebody that has sort of delved into it recently, I've gone all into the deep end with it too. And I've been doing Hargrave research and all this other stuff. But, and obviously I had to read every single page as I was going through to make it, every line, every sentence. So, of course, the player resources are a lot of fun. New classes, races, stuff you can add into most OSR or old school systems. You could even add some of this into your 5e games. But for me, it's the referee advice that Hargrave gives, because he's running a campaign back in the 70s that's a lot like how I'm running my campaign on the server. He talks about having multiple referees and tons of players, and you just walk over with your character sheet and sit down and play. And I brought it up a couple times where I talk about the one situation he had with a monomolecular sword cutting through atoms, and eventually that player just getting ascended to demigod status so that he could get him out of play while still giving him some sort of reward, because he said he would just go around destroying other people's tables. But he's got other notes in here too. Like he talks about not letting the players know exactly what kind of monster they're fighting. Always change it up. He talks about maybe this orc has a magic sword. Maybe this is a little different. Maybe this dude's been working out, and which is what, we've taken that advice to heart in a lot of our games. I know Barrows and Borderlands, this is because of Mark, but in there it talks about maybe the troll found a ring of fire protection, and the players just don't know that yet. But yeah, for me, it's the referee advice. Like if you really want to run a bigger scale game and really get into the nitty gritty, he gives you all that. So, and he writes it out in plain words too. He gives you examples, and he's not like, 3 pages of just going, well, in these situations you do this and this. He goes, no, yeah. I gave that player too good a weapon, and I'm not going to just take it from him. So we said, if you make it to the bottom of this 13 level dungeon, you get to be a demigod. And then now there's scrolls in his game where people could summon that character to help win a fight. So stuff like that, I think, is my favorite bit.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, George, we want to hear about the story, Earl Otis. Before you get into that, I just want to note for those that don't know, the reason that Jason and I were talking to George on that Thursday night of the convention is because Dave was busy, I think, all night long assembling all of those, the piping and the banners and everything else. And I walked into the convention hall to Dave sitting cross-legged on the floor with, I don't know, about 50 pipes, around him, and like a socket set and a pile of bolts and nuts, and flipping through the instructions, trying to put, everything together. And I mean, in a few hours later, he had it together, but just looking at it, it was like a kid with his first box of Tinker Toys, just
good luck
down on the floor in front of him. And Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I got it. You know?
Yeah, I hope to be streamlined next round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after you do it a couple times, right? You just get the hang of it, right?
It was funny,
Yeah.
Roger, because you were nervous. Like, are you guys going to be ready for tomorrow? You know, like you guys are going to be here all night.
I think the real question is, are you guys ready for George and Dave? So
Yes, that was the question I should have been asking the whole time. Yeah.
So
no, these guys are great. You know.
No. It's awesome.
So.
Well, you know what's going to happen now, Roger? We're going to need an extension because we're going to need some more space for Matt.
I warned you.
At the Barrows and Borderlands, the Arduin Junior section has to get now.
Oh boy,
He's even got a graphic for it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
One of my players made a meme of the Monopoly Junior board, but with my face on the Monopoly guy.
Nice.
It's Arduin Junior B&B.
Perfect.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. If you get it, Matt, you'll have to show it. I think it's pretty funny. So why do you find that? What I'm going to do is tell the Earl Otis story. 2022, Dave and I went to GaryCon. We were invited by Black Blade Publishing and Goodman Games. They had a booth and they invited us. They were very nice. Invited us to come and participate and be part of the booth there with Emperor's Choice and Arduin. And Earl Otis happened to be at the convention, so we got to talk to him. Never met him before. It was the first time, so we talked, introduced who we were, and we had Arduin, and he started talking about that, all the memories he had, you know, with Arduin, of course, and all the artwork he did. And he talked about, and I think you brought it up earlier, Jason, about White Plume Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, I did the White Plume Mountain. He said, when I did that first piece of artwork, which is the overland piece that shows the mountain and all the other terrain. Yeah. And there's a dragon in the corner. I think it's Drogoth's lair. It's an undead dragon. He told us he did that as a homage to Dave Hargrave.
Wow.
And when he did that, when he did all the artwork and he went and presented it to the TSR people, back then, at that time, which was, I believe, late 70s, and he showed him that and said, oh, look, he said he told us, he was like, look, I even did an undead dragon. He said they had no idea what an undead dragon was or what to do.
Yeah, there's the artwork. And I brought up earlier, too, the table we play at where we've got the brown paper and everything. It's one of my players. And, yeah, that was me waiting on more folks to show up for our open table game.
There's a big table.
Yeah.
It's 4 of them.
Nice.
So, but yeah.
That's awesome. Arduin Jr. Perfect. But it was funny because Earl Otis said it showed how far advanced Dave Hargrave was with his philosophy. He legit said they had no idea, like Undead Dragon, what's that? And then what was funny is within a couple of years after that, I noticed, I think it was Dragon Magazine, like in 80, all of a sudden they had the dragon. They had that Undead Dragon in there.
Yeah,
but Earl Otis was funny. It made Dave and I laugh. He was like, yeah, they didn't have a clue. But he said he did that as a homage to Dave Hargrave with the dragon.
I think they put that dragon in the lore of the setting of Greyhawk setting eventually. He shows up somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know about Greyhawk. I know it's in Forgotten Realms. It's Draco Lich. It was that's the cover of one of the early books that was very popular. In fact, I think Ed Green is the writer of that. Spellfire? Is that the name of the book?
Spellfire has a Draco Lich on the cover.
Yeah, that's the one.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, but it's it's awesome that I don't want to say that TSR was in a bubble, although I think they likely were. When you've got a small number of employees working on one thing, so you bring in somebody like Earl Otis was like, hey, I've got this undead dragon up here in the corner, and they go, a what? I don't think about TSR saying things like that. I think about them saying, oh yeah, we've got that in the box back here. So that's really cool.
It is. And again, because you're talking mid to late set, very early in the stage of the role play game industry. So they didn't have those concepts where Hargrave was already thinking. He already did a multiverse, the alternity, as he called it. He had gates. He was thinking you can play a Frank, you can play a Saurig, which is like the lizard man in deity. He was already getting the concept of you can do what you want in the game. So he was already there, and it shows you the creativity where things were going. And again, you even look like with Blackmore and Dave Arneson, where he did start having some sci-fi elements mixed in. So there was a lot. And if you don't mind, there's one thing I want to read to you because of Earl Otis that we're talking. This is from the original Arduin Grimoire, the volume 1 that he did. And this is from Dave Hargrave. Right at the bottom of the foreword, it says, the artwork contained within this book is the sole effort of a very talented young man named Earl Otis. 10 years hence, I'll be proud to say I knew him when ... end of quote.
Man.
So Hargrave knew back in 1977 when he had Earl do that, he knew he had a young man who was special.
And he was the first guy to coin the term mana for magic power, like mana system. Because the spell points were in that California scene, and then he's like, it's funny because whenever he writes MANA is actually a misspelling of the word mana, but that's the one that stuck with video game culture and stuff like that over time. But yeah, if you go back to like a lot of video game articles that talk about mana, they reference Hargrave as being the guy that first used that term.
I just found that out from Matt today.
I did some deep diving.
But cool.
It just, and like I said, his influence, and just real quick, like Michio Okamura, who a lot of the artwork Matt's using in the limited edition in the bundle there, he was one of the graphic designers for Diablo, the first Diablo. And there was a thank you, a special thanks to Dave Hargrave. And interesting enough, on the bottom level of Diablo, the computer game, one of the main creatures you fight, I think one of the bosses or main creature, is a creature that's a black plate mail with two-handed swords. Well, guess what that is? That's a Doomguard, which is an Arduin creature, is on the lowest level.
Nice.
Of Diablo.
That's
they
awesome.
belong there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. So just a little bit.
We're adding that miniature to the Kickstarter.
Yeah. That's one of the free miniatures you get now on the Kickstarter.
Cool. That's
so
awesome.
I have a couple more questions, but I'll ask this one that I won't ask anymore. Go ahead, Jason, when you first started telling me about Dave, I was like, okay, let me check this guy out, because Google, show me everything you know. And that's when I saw he was in the military. He was in Vietnam. He was a combat photographer.
Yes.
And I was thinking about I was in the Army. I played every time I've deployed. I brought my books with me. I've had my entire platoon playing at times, and I used it, and a lot of the guys use it as like a kind of a therapy. We're not sitting in the deserts of Iraq anymore. We're somewhere in a lush forest or whatever. In fact, I think Dave is wearing the shirt, Arduin, Bloody Arduin. Do you think I don't think it's particularly violent, but it's deadly. Death comes like that. At the drop of a hat, you get whacked and that's it. Do you think that in any of this, I don't know, the inherent deadliness of Arduin, do you think that's a result of his time in Vietnam? Did he kind of transfer it over to this system?
Yeah, I'd say 100%.
100%. It's interesting because some of the letters where you got some of the information of what Hargrave was doing, and he pre-deployment, which I think he deployed, just when the U.S. did that surge, I forgot the year, where they had 50,000 troops committed to Vietnam. He was in Germany, and one of the letters to his mom, he was talking about he was doing mountain warfare training with German commandos, like a German commando unit. Remember, Dave, that letter part of it where he was telling his mom, I'm doing some high training. And they did some other training because the letters talked about combat exercises. and I swear they use. This is weird to say, but some live ammunition and some live stuff going off. Like
Sure.
they were doing some serious training before they deployed. And he was a combat photographer, but we also know he was.
You're still packing a rifle.
He was also involved with the intelligence, the department, DoD intelligence. So even though he was a combat photographer, I think he was involved in certain operations and different things. So he was really in the weeds. And I think he saw some things. And the family told us a lot of the footage you see for Vietnam or photographs, there's a very good chance Dave Hargrave was the one, because they said DOD would not give credit to who got that stuff, but they know he was involved with a lot. He was in a lot of the hot spots, a lot of the things like that. And to answer your question, Jason, like Dave said too, 100%. When you look at the criticals, he even had a friend of his, Dr. Voorhees, Stephen Voorhees, who did like what the ramifications are of some of this critical, very real to life. And
Dr. Voorhees' wife is a doctor too, so they were both involved.
Yeah, and they were both game with Dave, and he asked them.
Doctors.
Yeah, so he was real to life, and I think what he did was from his experiences in Vietnam. When we look at a lot of the dungeons, there's dungeons that have traps, They have tunnels, like Viet Cong tunnels. I mean, you could see that right there. So yes, I think it bleeds into everything that he does, his experiences, and he put that to paper. We do know from what we were told from family and how he did it. How did he do 150 dungeons? This guy unfortunately passed away when he was 42. Jeez. So his time in the industry, his gaming time is 13 to 18 years. They told us his vent was he'd take graph paper and he'd have these ideas and these thoughts, and they had to come out. And he would take pieces of graph paper, numerous ones, and in hours, and we see it because we have it here, and he'd sketch out the dungeon. He'd write descriptions. These dungeons have descriptions of creatures, of places, of things, temples, all written. And it would that was his venting. I think, to be honest, and I'm no expert, believe me, I'm just kind of guessing. Maybe if he had, PTSD or something, that was his venting, was creating these things.
That was his therapy. Sure.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not there's no evidence. I'm just saying that's my only logical conclusion, because when Dave and I look at the material we did, is like, how did this guy just explode with creativity with all this? And I think his experiences in Vietnam shaped that, because his world was deadly. There was a realism. Even Matt could see it when he read it, the gun calibers. He did a whole section on all types of guns and ranges and penetration, which was, you didn't see that in games back then.
He also spends, I was going to say, he also spends a lot of time talking about pay for military and stuff in his campaign setting, and he goes into a lot of the structure in there too.
I might add also that the Dr. Voorhees, the husband-wife team that actually helped him put those critical tables and recovery tables together, when I actually talked to them on the phone, their response was Hargrave was utterly a genius, and this is from doctors. So it takes a lot to become a doctor, but to have a doctor say you're a genius.
Yeah.
Well, like you were saying, the depth of detail that the guy did, in a span of 20 years ish, is staggering. That's genius level intellect there, or some kind of weird savant. So
crazy.
It is, and he did come from a bit of a war game background, and we were told from the family that he did do war games back then in the in the 60s, late 60s, that there was a wargaming element to him. And he talked about doing, in the military, they did war games, but he took it to the next level.
They said he was heavily into the naval wargaming too.
Yeah, the naval wargaming, and he developed some stuff too. We do have some things in the archive that he did some play-by-mail stuff, and we have actually correspondence where he corresponded with a bunch of people. He did his own ancient map that made it like a Roman ancient map, the whole old world, and he put fantasy countries and he mixed things there and ran a game. So he had a lot going on, and part of it, when you said what did he do, he was part of a Mensa group back in California, which were the high IQ people. And his family kept telling us he ran his game, and his family are not gamers. He said he had a game he developed that really intrigued the Mensa group who played his game, and he was really well liked because it intrigued him. All this group of high IQ people were like, this is really cool. We want more. So he ran a lot for Mensa in California back in the day.
So I don't know. I know that you guys, for the Kickstarter, you're reprinting the original the Arduin trilogy, and that's kind of what you guys have been supporting and pushing and whatnot. And is there a reason? Like, I know there was like an Arduin 2 and like another printing, I think, after that. I don't know if it was like a third edition or something, where there was something different. But why is there something? I don't know too much about those. Is that something that is like just wasn't the right fit, or you think they changed it? They went the wrong direction with it, and like why go back to the beginning?
Okay, so you have the original Arduin, which is like old D&D. It's the
sure. And I'm all for going back, to the start, and back to the OD&D times and all of that. I'm all for it. So,
and I give you a little bit of a timeline. So what happened was Dave Hargrave passed in 88. And at that time, Jim Mathis and Mark Scheiner with Grimoire Games were doing complete Arduin 2, as we call it, the second version. So Dave had his, obviously was part of the whole thing. And then Mark Scheiner finished it off. What happened is when they produced that, unfortunately, they lost the author. They lost Dave. But then guess what was happening just in the early 90s, just as they were producing Arduin 2? Now, it was a percentile-based system. It was a whole new vision of Arduin, so it went away from the original, went into a percentile. But Magic, the gathering, the cards were became quickly the thing starting in the early 90s. Moving
93,
93. So all of a sudden, here they are producing the new Arduin, and they get hit with that. So unfortunately, it didn't go over well. So that kind of faded away. And then what happens is much later than that, when Dave and I acquired Arduin, which was, again, in 1998 that we acquired it, we looked back, we reprinted the originals for many years. Then in the 2012, 2013, we created Arduin Eternal, which you could call Arduin 3, the third version.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and that was a very heavy, it would took the percentile Arduin 2 and went to the next level. Unfortunately, with that, it was a lot. Highly complex, very crunchy, and so it didn't fly well at all. And unfortunately, what happened is within a year of that coming out, Dave and I had a lot of bad things personally happen. 2014, we pretty much lost. Both of Dave's parents passed away. My father passed away. My mother caught cancer. It was just that year train wrecked us, and we had other things. William Watt, who was with us for so many years, his brother died, Dave? His
brother died. They found him in the house a week later. His wife died.
As a company, the main core of the company, we just personal wise took major hits. So we went into a hibernation for about 7 years from that point. And then in 2021, Dave retired, came back. We talked about maybe getting the company going again, and then we started. And then when we started early on in 2021, by the fall, we're like, you know what? We need to get a system for Arduin. We need to get something fresh. And we knew from the notes and the things we saw, Dave Hargrave, even though he was doing Arduin 2, his next version, he wanted to do what was called Arduin Bloody Arduin. And it's basically his magnus opus, is like his version, his ultimate version of Arduin. And it looked like he was going back to the beginning. So when we looked at it, we're like, we're going to go back to the original Arduin and develop from there. We'll take things from the other ones that we feel fit in, but the core foundation is going to be the roots of Arduin, which is like old D&D, zero D&D. If you
I think he would have probably stuck it out with the battle factor. He was tweaking it, but not to the extent that Scheinert had put it out in Arduin 2.
Yeah.
It was just too complicated.
So that's why we're looking.
It makes sense to have just gone right back to the D20 at this point.
Yeah.
So moving.
Yeah, go ahead.
So moving forward, no, you're good. Moving forward, past this, printing this, then we're talking about doing an upgraded system after this. Is that the next plan?
The main plan is Arduin Bloody Arduin is going to be the version of Arduin. We don't plan to do another edition. It's one rule system. We're looking at 2027 to come out with Arduin Bloody. We've been in works for 4 years developing. We're going to need another year and a half. We're going to still need these 2 years. And it's going to be a D20 based system. It's going to have your 6 stats for Arduin that have strength, health, coordination, reasoning, ego, and influence, which mimic obviously D&D and all the other games out there. We use a D20 for combat. Armor class, we've talked about that. We are going to go with ascending armor class. We just feel that it's a good, clean thing to use. But it's going to go back to the basics. And we feel that's the way to pay a homage to Dave, because he's going to do that. We're going to have the crits, fumbles. We're going to take all the best parts from Arduin and port them over, and then develop some new things and move forward with it. And the reason we're saying 2027 is because 2027 is the 50th anniversary for Arduin, where Dave Hargrave in February 1977 published the first Arduin grimoire. So that's going to be our main thrust, is that. And from there, we'll come out with Gazetteers, the Arduin. We plan to do continents, like we'll have Arkella. We'll have different continents of the world of Kaz that'll be developed and flushed out. And then, of course, all the Arduin modules, all the unpublished material that Hargrave has. We've got a plethora of material that we want to develop, put out there. Dave's been working on maps for the countries, different countries, regional areas of the continent map that can fit in with Arduin. So we are not short of material to put on.
And there's one thing to add in there too. We're starting to work a lot closer with Matt, and there's some special stuff in the pipeline there.
Ooh, cool.
Well, there you go, Matt. Dave just
yeah. There's some cool stuff. I'm not going to spill the beans on it all, but I'm quite excited.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I said, Matt's a very good fit with his style of writing, with his energy, with how he develops Barrels and Borderlands. We see a very, very tight relationship in the future. But Arduin, Bloody Arduin, Roger, to your question, that's the future of Arduin. And we plan to do that in 2027. I have a feeling there's going to be a convention in central New York in June of 2027 that you thought we were crazy with the booth now, Jason. Wait till you see what we're going to do.
I'm digging it.
I don't even know. Did you even say, George, that there's actually quite a few modules already written for all of this?
We've already written some. I'm sorry. We already have some that are already written, and we have more in development. So again, behind the scenes, we have a lot going on with that. Like I said, artwork, back to the question you had, Jason, literally hundreds of new pieces of artwork that have been done, that are done, and we have more coming. And we're doing both. And what I mean by that is black and white and color. We're going to do both. So, we didn't want to get into that game because it was like, do we do color? Do we just do black and white? Because then we know people like both. And we're like, we're going to do both. We'll be smart about it. Like if all the races we've done are color, so the whole section on races is color. But then we have our demons. We did them in black and white, so all the demons will be black and white. So each section will have a theme and will be consistent. Like our giants are all beautiful color plate pictures that we've done. So we've done it smart, so it's not too drastic, but each category, each section will be color or it'll be black and white, but it'll all mix in well. And some of the artwork you've seen at the con, the Scorpoon, the Lich with the cards, it's all cut.
Yeah.
All the artwork, the stuff on the tables, it's all our artwork. And we're like, why not use it? The Octorilla, Roger, your favorite.
Yeah, love that guy.
Yeah, no, we're just going to keep on. Yep, there you go, your guy there. So we're just
a lot of minis too. We got to get Stan cranking soon.
Yeah,
here.
I've been waiting to talk Stan.
But there's a lot of new miniatures kind of in the pipeline, and we kind of have a little miniature special for the con that's already sculpted and in hand. I just got to get off my butt and make the mold after this Kickstarter.
Yeah, we got some special stuff coming. Stan, we probably, Dave, realistically, about between all the ones we haven't released, we got about 20 or so new miniatures already.
Probably more than that. And since Bill had passed, we picked up a new sculptor that's pretty amazing, Mariano. And I might add, he has recently posted on Facebook, and I don't go on there much, but I just happened to go on there today, a picture of his owl bear that he just sculpted for someone.
Yeah. And just so you know, the Scorpoon is a miniature that's is done now. So we just have to.
Oh, awesome!
That's the scorpion-tailed bamboo.
Yeah.
That
thing looks awesome.
So Stan, get ready.
That's cool.
We
Stan.
Let me know.
Stan, maybe you wanna come down. Maybe June 1st or something.
Might have to.
Stay.
We might have to.
We need to start setting up for the con. Yeah, June 1st.
We'll put them up in the hotel for a couple weeks. And
I didn't know you guys cast them, all that stuff yourself too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So occasionally we'll farm out the molds. Occasionally I'll do them.
Yeah. No, we do the whole 9 yards here, Stan. We have all the machinery. We do all the casting.
Oh, wow.
And Dave, like you said, he'll do some molds when necessary. We got some work cut out for us now with the Kickstarter. So we're going to be doing some more stuff with the, getting more of the miniatures because we got all the freebies we got to give. And on the back end, we have a whole bunch of miniatures people have been buying. So we're really, the miniature line is going to expand. We have about 86 that are out there right now for sale, but we want to get right now we're over 100 with the new ones, and we want to push it even farther. We're not going to stop with the metal miniatures. We're going to keep growing the line. So
they're great. They're really good quality, and I like the one of the ones I'm working on there for the con. It was very, very simple to put together, which was awesome.
Was it good? Okay.
Favorite part. Yeah. Yeah.
With our new sculptor, we're making sure that he's also doing it. I don't mean to go down the weeds, guys, but
I didn't want to either, but here's a link to his owl bear on the Facebook there that I think it just got posted today.
Yeah. But he's learning, he's making sure like we're putting pins in, how the cuts are, that the pieces fit well. You know what? That's really important for us. We want something that fits well together, that you don't have to use a ton of putty, to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I use very, very little actually.
Good.
Very little.
That's good to hear. I'm glad. And that's what we want to keep.
Yeah, Bill used to beat us up pretty bad for shrinkage if there was any shrinkage.
Oh,
so
he used to freak out.
Got us turned on to it was a Frank Pertot rubber, and it was a no shrinkage rubber. Of course, Frank Pertot went out of business, and another company picked it up, and another company, and float around, but it kind of stayed with us, sticking with that rubber. And then when everything went to silicone, it just threw us for a loop. So, but there's another rubber out there that's similar. So we're back in business.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it makes it
Yeah,
a
that was
lot
always-
easier because metal miniatures can be, they're tougher to like assemble, like especially the bigger ones because there's so much weight. And like if the fit's really good, like they were on that one that I'm working on, that's awesome. Like I've had ones that were from other companies that were freaking nightmare to put together in metal, which is nice. I like metal. But like if it's a nightmare to put together, it just
if you got
takes
to
the fun
pin
out of it.
them yourself, and then you gotta you gotta worry about putty and putting putty or JB Weld or whatever it is you're using. That's probably the wrong thing to use. Don't do that. But,
I don't use that, but I know people that do.
Milliput, I guess. Right, you probably use Milliput or something, as that's the official stuff to use, probably. But
yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff you can use, but that one went together really well. I didn't really have to use much putty at all.
Yeah, no, the quality of what these guys are doing is definitely leagues ahead of the old metal cast stuff. I mean, so
Oh yeah.
Looking at like some of the old, the old Grenadier stuff is gorgeous. It's just, not gorgeous. That's the wrong word. It's really cool looking, stuff to see it. But yeah, all their stuff putting together. I remember having some of that, some like Reaper, pewter minis, and I've had to like pin like Pegasus wings on and things like that. And it's like just a nightmare. Like nothing lines up right. And yeah, you end up having to, green stuff. Off Grid Gamer mentions green stuff. So you put green stuff on there, things like that, and it's just trying to make it look nice, and I can never make it look pretty, But pinning the metal and everything, fun stuff. But but these guys their minis are definitely top notch. I love them, and they're cool stuff. They're not like the normal, run of the mill molds. You go there when you want to find like the cool shit that you want to throw at your players.
Yeah, there's some very
like
different
the
stuff in the line, which is cool.
Yeah. And you just put the dragon together, right? That was in like 3 or 4 pieces.
That's the last one I have to do. It's all together. It's on the base, and now I'm just kind of building up the base around it for the effect that we wanted. For the red and stuff. So I'm just kind of building the base up around it so it'll work because it was designed for something else. So, but it's not a big deal. I can do that.
No. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad that's coming along. So that'll be great to show off some of that stuff when it gets a little bit closer.
Yeah, I'm in hopes. This week kind of stinks, but I want to finish like all the basing within the next couple weeks, and then I can start. I can prime it and paint it, and then do the base itself and stuff. So
yeah, fun.
But,
yeah, definitely look forward to that.
So we keep seeing the pictures and stuff, and it's just fantastic, and it's just leagues ahead of what I could do as far as painting. So it's good stuff. So
yeah, they're very fun. They're easy to paint too, which is nice. They're not they're the right level of detail. Sometimes I have like sculptors that I really like, but the same person has like this insane buckle fetish, and it's like, Jesus, I don't know how many of these I want to paint, but these were nice, and they have that old school, like especially like you were talking about the Grenadier and stuff. If you're into that style of miniature, like these very much capture that old school feel. I was showing with some of my the guys in my home group, and they were like, "Oh wow, those are awesome."
Yeah, Bill was actually
super cool.
Probably one of the main sculptors at Grenadier.
Yeah. I don't say that enough. I'm still figuring out this whole YouTube thing, but like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The QR code in the bottom right, that takes you to the Kickstarter for these guys. So click on that and just scroll down to the max level, and then just hit back it, and just give it your credit card info, and pay it later. It's fine. It's great. Just
When you showed us the that box, I had to do that add-on. So I've given you more. You're welcome.
Yeah, that add-on's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Dave's 24 hours before the Kickstarter
That is cool.
add-on.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I kept it as a surprise, and I didn't know if I was going to get a
He
sample.
kept it as a surprise. And just to let everyone know, we customize these, but there's more customization that we just recently did. It says 5 millimeters, but we had to change it on the Kickstarter. This is 5
What's
millimeters.
6 on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, it says 6 at one spot because I couldn't change it. This is 5 millimeter, but now the ends, this part is going to be 8 millimeters. And the reason being is the initial design had, I'm getting messed up here, 3 of these magnets here to fit on. The new one's going to be thicker, stronger magnets, and we believe 4, right, Dave? 4 magnets on each.
It's supposed to be 4 on each side.
Yeah. So then it'll stay on better than the original. So
should have the final sample this week.
Yeah, I think those will be there.
I was referring to the trilogy box. You know that. Thing. Yeah. Because I'd already gone all the way over to the right and was getting the slipcase and all that. Yes, that one. When I saw that, I was like, oh, damn it. Okay, I got to add that too. Yep.
Yeah.
What is that an ad? What did I miss something?
That's in here.
Yeah.
That's physically in here. So
yeah. And you get both. You get Matt's Barrows and Borderlands and the Arduin trilogy.
Yeah, not
with
this version, but
Conisper.
the other version.
Excellent. Yeah. Mostly, I just wanted the uncensored art of the back. That's why I did it.
There you go.
Right.
I've never even seen it. I don't know what I'm talking about.
There's the artwork almost.
So that's the
Matt.
What Matt is showing. Those are the 2 box sets that come in the big box.
Yes.
Right, as part of the Kickstarter.
Yeah, they're the only box sets. Yeah, there's no additional ones.
The only box sets. Right.
And then you get the Tonisberg.
You got your Tonisberg there?
I do not. Dave, do you have?
I do. It's on the other side of the room.
Oh, and I don't have.
A second, I'll go grab
it. This is how much I suck at Kickstarter. So if I already got, hang on, let me bring up my pledge here. So if I already got the premium protective case bundle, do I have those 2 brown sets that you just did?
Yes.
Okay. So if I get another one, then I don't need it. I'm just adding more stuff.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
And
there it is.
Does that come in the premium protective case bundle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's 22 items. Just to make it clear, when you get the premier bundle,
I can't get the glare off.
Yeah. It's hard to see, Dave, but that's fine. The premier case bundle, you get everything. You get everything in addition to PDFs too. Basically, you get the other rewards in there, Jason, just so you know. You're getting everything. You're not missing anything. And all the stretch goals. So you're getting the whole 9 yards.
All right.
And
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, no. Again, I apologize because the Kickstarter, holy cow. And I've said this story a few times. I felt like I broke the Kickstarter at the end because that was another consternation right at the end before the launch. There's so much stuff listed that you get. Kickstarter stopped me from doing anymore. It wouldn't let me save. It said you've exceeded our 35,000 character limit for the Kickstarter, and I had to rework it to get it done. But yeah, no, you're getting everything, Jason. You're not missing any. You're going to get both box sets, Tossenberg, the maps, the cards, the miniatures. You're getting the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I was, and I messaged you about this. I was backer number 2. I was sitting there at midnight. Refresh.
I thought you got number 1.
And I tried. I flipped over to the right, hit all, and then I went and somebody beat me. But I looked at the total of the Kickstarter. And it was only my money. So somebody hit 0, saved it. Whoever backer 1 is out there.
Oh, that's what I think.
Cheated.
Yeah. Do you see Matt smiling? I think it was one of his friends, right, Matt? I think. Yeah, look at Matt. I don't know.
But I'm number 2.
I don't know. I know nothing.
I'm so excited about it.
I might add too that the card set that we're throwing in there, the Swords and Dragons. it'll come with this sticker here that you can scan that code to get the rules for it.
Cool.
And we'll throw this bag in there that you can store the cards in. And
Yeah.
that there is a self-portrait of William Watt who did the sculpts.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
So-
nice.
That's cool.
That's right. You
Nice.
showed me that. You showed
Yeah,
me
he's
that
a little
at the con.
pissed
That's
because
right.
we made him a little chunkier because we changed it. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I got that on the bag from the Octoril. It's the same. It's a similar
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
and that's his crow. He was taking care of a crow that was injured. He was good on taking care of wildlife.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He had a 25-year-old cardinal when I first showed up at his house.
Jeez, no kidding.
I
Jeez.
swear
Wow.
to God, this thing looked like, one of those fake plastic things at Grandma's house. I took a picture of him.
Jeez.
He had no beak. That's how he was being taken care of. So.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. So, and I'm looking at the Kickstarter. I'm going to try and share my screen here. I don't know if it'll show up here. Let's see. How can I do this? Yep. Doing this live. All right. Let's see. Does that show up? Let me hide this, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, we popped 37.
Yep. We popped
Wow.
37. Let
Oh, we
me, well, we can leave the QR code there, I guess. All right, let's see if this works. So you can see me scrolling. Yeah, it's going.
Yep.
So yeah, so we got the story. There's the 3 games. There's the Arduin trilogy, the Lost Dungeon of Tonnesburg, Barrows and Borderlands, and then this is everything there, right? And I can't really.
It's
Zoom in on that,
almost
but yeah.
everything.
Dracula in Space is there. I can see it.
Yep.
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 Rancid Maws to the left is there.
My
The
players,
item cards, right, Matt, aren't on that board.
they're not. No, I couldn't fit them in the image. I guess I could have squeezed them down at the bottom, but there's so much stuff in this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild.
One of my players recently just said that Dracula in Space is a 6th level funnel.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. 800 pages, 35 character classes, 65 races, 130 mutations, 300 monsters, 250 spells. I mean, just everything, just all this stuff.
And there's
This
a
is
set
just
of dice, isn't there?
fantastic.
Two.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Like
You can see
one
them there in the
7
picture.
Yeah.
Who manufactured the dice?
I get those ordered in, and it's funny because originally when I was first doing Barrows and Borderlands, I wanted dice in there, and I was only going to have like 30 box sets that I was going to make originally. It was just going to be for my local game store, but that obviously didn't happen. But originally I was going to have my fiance Shay make them because she makes dice. And then I started getting more orders and more orders and more orders. And she looked at me and said, "That's not happening."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I have to order those in. But
Cool.
those of you that do already have Barrows and Borderlands sets, those are the same kind of dice that come in there. And from what I hear, they roll good.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So there's the dice sets there. Yeah. So all sorts of good stuff in there. I think, I don't know if I really missed anything. I think this is just going through more of that stuff.
I think
I
it
don't know if
was.
this- yeah, go ahead.
I think it was Tinker's podcast that you guys were on. Excuse me, a couple of weeks ago. One of the guys on the panel was kind of beating you up over a retail order, and you had said no. That's not part of the plan. Will we see these on retail shelves at some point in the future, or is this going to be backers get it and it's not available anywhere else?
Well, I mean, we made a certain amount of them. So we ordered boxes in. So, like we'll have those left over, but we're not producing any more after this is done. So it's just whatever's left. And those also don't get the Kickstarter savings from the
Sure.
folks that actually backed it. But yeah, I mean, it's just whatever we have left. Once it's all over, we'll probably move. But yeah, we're not making any. You couldn't pay me enough to print on this heavy cardstock anymore.
Yeah. So
George reached out to that store, or a couple, actually several stores, but whether they want to order or not, that's going to be up to them. We can't. We're basically selling it for less than wholesale.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we are offering an incentive to anybody wanting to do retail that will compensate them with other product that we have on hand.
Cool.
And that's the best we can do. But so the short end of it is it probably won't be in stores after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll probably
very, very few.
Very few.
I think it'll be in the store near Matt. It'll be in a couple stores up here.
I have a couple of them that I will probably want to try and get in the Green Dragon down here because that's where I started playing my game. So it'd be cool to have a couple. But yeah, I mean, like I said, sorry, George, sorry, Dave, I'm not making any more. I won't do it.
Noble Knight's probably going to be good for a few.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
and I wasn't trying to pass judgment either way. I was just wondering what the final decision had been.
No.
It was never meant to be a long-term project that is sustained. There's 3 companies involved. I mean, it's really complicated. And
if I have any at cons by then, but I mean, we've got a lot of people backing so far. So it'd be neat if we didn't have any left over. That would be the cool thing.
Yeah, right.
So,
I mean, I'd like to come to CNYCon with at least 3 copies, just in case.
Cool.
Sure.
So
that'd be cool.
The bottom line is there'll be a few that'll still be available, but honestly, it is a limited edition because we're only going to produce so many box sets, and once we run out, we're out.
Yeah.
And there is a limited amount. The Kickstarter is going to take a large chunk of everything right at this point, wherever we end up. We're not, like Matt said, we are not going to do this. We can't have Matt doing what he's doing, what we're doing. It's insane. This is a one-time thing, and it truly is limited edition where even the cases, these custom cases, they're not going to be available like this all the time because it's crazy what we have.
These will have a handful left over.
There's
the cardboard box, and these will probably stock, but they're going to be higher priced than what we're offering them on the Kickstarter. I mean, they're basically wholesale on the Kickstarter.
Yeah, and we, as far as like my Barrows and Borderlands boxes, obviously, at a certain point, I won't be able to keep up anymore making them by hand. So eventually, I won't be doing those anymore. It
Feel
just
bad
is,
for you, Matt.
Well, I have another order of wood grain boxes that I have for my stock coming in, and then I've got the hardbacks available on drive-through that are print on demand. Those have been getting good reviews, and I'm, as much as I love the box sets, I mean, you really can't do it forever. So there's a reason Gary and Dave stopped doing it.
So that's the plan. So Arduin, obviously, this is a one-time thing for that because it's reprinting the classic, and then the next thing you guys print will be the new core books. Are they going to be a single book, single volume?
The plan we're planning to do is kind of a homage, again, a trilogy.
Okay,
we're going to have 3 books: GM, a player grimoire, GM grimoire, and a monster grimoire. But the format is going to be 8.5 by 11. It's going to be in a large format.
And then and format going forward. Yeah, for that. And then Matt, you're doing you do the books. You're obviously your game Barrows and Borderlands, that's still ongoing.
Yes,
so your printings for that. You're gonna, once you finish with your boxes and stuff, once they're gone, and you're just gonna rely on drive-through for the most
then
part.
I've got second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh editions of my game. No, I'm kidding. The game's where it's at. Right? Mainly, I mean, I have my most fun writing modules, so I'll probably be writing modules. We've also got Radioactive Boogaloo, which is my additional rules. I've already got like 60 pages of notes for the next Radioactive Boogaloo, which is always a free PDF. I mean, obviously you pay to have it printed and shipped, but the PDF is always free on there. And then, so yeah, we've already got Radioactive Boogaloo, Radioactive Boogaloo 3, just when you thought I was out of ideas and that kind of stuff. But those are the rules that like
Awesome.
they either didn't make the cut to the main game, or they're things that I'm thinking of now that could be cool, like playtest material, or just overcomplicated things that I think were cool. But
Sure,
all that goes in there.
You're singing my song right there. Complicated. I think this is great.
Matt, do you have one of your hardcovers?
I do have a hardcover here. Let me see.
Yeah, it's a really cool book.
This is one of the proof ones. But yeah, I'll just spread.
Cool.
And it's got the Castle Grief art on the front, and it's all 4 volumes in one. And I really like these things. I'm always partial to my box sets, but some of my players have told me they prefer the hardback because they don't need all the booklets open at their table. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's just one book to carry around and whatnot.
Yeah,
sure.
It's definitely really good for conventions.
Yeah, the booklets you really need. You need to carry them in a box or be protective with them. Whereas a hardback, you could just throw in your bag and you're done with it.
And they look so nice on the shelf.
They do look nice on the shelf.
Yeah.
I've also got the really cool, like the binding Barrows and Borderlands on this one.
That's cool.
And so already we have 3 other adventure modules for B&B. One of them is being written by John, one of my players, who's been working on it for a long while now. He's got Radioactive Boogaloo 7, The Secret of the Ooze. Be careful, I'll steal that. No, I'm kidding. He's working on like a 52 level mega dungeon that his player character built in game. So he's been stocking it with his in-game money and filling it out, and it's pretty deadly as well.
How many levels?
52 levels. It's six buildings that the
one
levels
a week
are spread throughout.
One level a week, right?
Yeah.
World Trade Centers.
Yeah, dude, he's got these. Dude, he said, I conquered a 5-mile hex. Okay, cool. And he started filling it out. This is something his character's been working on for a very long time, and then like as far as my adventure modules go, won't spoil too much, but got a lot of orc action coming and a lot of magic users. And the content for the Portal to Adventure box set will be, I'll continually reference it in the Radioactive Boogaloo. So a lot of the rulings I'm making there will take into account that some people are using the Kickstarter content, some people are using base B&B. I got really inspired by Hargrave's star rating system for his inns and taverns because I thought, oh man, it's awesome way to do it. So I started messing with guilds having star ratings and towns having star ratings to make life easy for the referee. But yeah, so stuff like that. Obviously more classes. Like I've got a Jedi. Raikishi is what we're calling it in the next Radioactive Boogaloo.
Yeah.
But yeah, just tons of fun stuff.
Yeah,
cool.
The whole thing that's interesting with this Kickstarter and feeding into what Matt's saying and what we are, the whole Arduin Portal to Adventure is going to continue. And what I mean by that is it'll evolve and you can add more to it. And that's what I mean. So the bundle is not just a one-time thing. It's something you can keep using over and over.
I'll make a
and like we said, you can mix. Yeah. You can mix whatever you want. Castles, crusades, swords, wizardry, whatever.
Chivalry and sorcery, whatever. We've got whatever. I think y'all brought up too that ABA will still be compatible with the old stuff. So like if y'all liked the way a certain ruling was in an earlier Arduin or in the Portal to Adventure, you could just use it. I mean, we'll be playing like when ABA comes out, we'll be playing that too at my table, and we'll probably have people at the table that are still using OD&D sheets, B&B sheets, Arduin sheets, and Portal to Adventure sheets, and then some of them will go, okay, we'll use the ABA sheets. So, but I've seen a little bit. I think they'll like it a lot because it is pretty cool, and it feels like if Hargrave was able to collect it all from what I've seen so far in ABA. But
ton of work.
Cool. Can't wait. I can't wait to see all that come together, and we'll be, you definitely got, I think 3 backers here,
Yep.
Well, you guys got to come play it with us next. We'll come bring it up to the convention, play with you up there, and then I got to come join the Discord and run through my 6-level funnels.
Yeah. I love a 6-level funnel. I love that idea. That sounds
Rancid
fantastic.
Mall's a 20th level funnel.
Yeah. You know what, man? When you come up for CNY next year, why don't we run Rancid Mall?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
To adventure for everybody.
Yeah.
So
I've got some. I'll bring some pre-made 20th level characters up there and see how they do.
Good. I will have no emotional attachment to them whatsoever. You can wipe them off the map, and I'll be like, eh.
Oh yeah. No, I want you to be attached when they die in the dungeon after playing with them for 6 years. And no, I'm kidding. Hey, no, that just
Stan comes in, he paints the miniature, and then you get to go home if you could become attached.
A lot of my players are already at campaign, like domain level play. And no, we had one guy who's playing the same character for a couple years, brought it into a dungeon, and boom, head cut off in one fell swoop. And we're like, that's how it goes. You never know when it's gonna. And that was before we even added Arduin, so we didn't even have the critical hit tables yet. So now it's even worse. But yeah, we've got a good mix of player levels throughout the world.
My players voted against critical hits because they didn't want the monsters to get them too. So
you let your players vote.
Yeah, I'm a softie.
At the time,
you are softie.
We were using basic fantasy, and we all had 2 hit points, so we were just cycling through characters left and right. Anyway,
we switched to CNC.
Well, any hits a crit.
Yeah,
we switched to CNC, and you guys didn't want to use them.
No, I don't mind having crits as long as everybody gets them. The problem is we have games like this past Sunday where Roger just couldn't stop hitting my character, and every time he rolled damage, it was just the maximum number everywhere. And I'm like, oh, okay, this sucks.
I mean, to be fair, he was floating himself up to the top.
I had to get within spell range
to get face to face to a dragon, and he was smacking her in the face with a +5 spear. So the reason
she had it coming.
She was attacking him.
We get a little bit of a benefit at our table, though, from the fact that we play other systems too. So with it being multiverse, we have a whole system of like, what are the 3 kinds of universal travel that we do in our game. So we've got like direct, where you're actually using the same system. Indirect, we're using a close enough system. And then we even have like isekai. So it's just your character's mind or soul, but we're playing something completely different this time. And I'll still give you XP at the end, but now we have player, like we were just in Tecumel a few weeks ago doing Empire Petal Throne, and then we did like Mothership the other day, and so tons of games, tons of chances not to die quickly, and even more to die even faster than what we have. But
that's cool. I was going to ask Roger, I don't know if you had any more questions, Jason, or anything. I was going to show some of the artwork for ABA, a couple pieces, if you want to kind of see a mixture of some color and black and white. Just
I'm all for it.
Idea.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. What do you got? You gonna pull it up? You gonna share your screen?
Yeah. Why don't I share my screen and I'll just
do that?
Yeah. Here's one, which is I don't know. Can you guys see that?
Hang on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Let me do this. And let me hide the chat. And then that should be that's about as big as we're gonna get, I think. So yeah, we could see the giant
it's
millipede looking thing.
Millipede, I guess, or something.
It's a dinosaur type. So this is just one of the dinosaur creatures in the game, just to give you, this is one of our artists. So it's a colorized, wanted to,
and I like the scale representation up there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Is it cool? Yeah. And then on the bottom, we like how he does the bottom portion too, like the ripped paper, and it shows a little bit of the creatures. So we have a lot of that happening with our dinosaurs. So this is one of them, again, to give you a nice little bit.
Well,
let me get to the next one, because I think I got to share each individually, Roger.
If you share the Yeah, I'm not sure. If you share the screen, you should be able to flip through them.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
Let me put that back up. Yeah, that guy looks cool.
Yeah,
This
that
is
one's
the
awesome.
Howl Fiend. Here's a black and white. Actually, our from the convention, our table skirts have this image on
Oh,
it.
okay. That's why it looks familiar. Okay.
Yeah, it's inversed. Yeah, just to show this is, again, our black and white. I'll try to flip through it. You guys let me know. Can you see the next image, or are you still seeing the same?
No,
one?
we're still seeing the same one.
Okay. So I probably have to stop sharing and then
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We'll just
Giving Roger some practice at what he can do with this stream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got the one up.
There we go. Yep. Is that
This
like
is-
a golem? What is that?
It's an Orca Hundus. It's
Okay.
basically a
It's a
giant.
humongous orc.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a
Yep.
giant orc in Arduin.
He's in one of the
Nice.
Arduin
It's awesome.
I might add he's been sculpted as well by Mariano.
Yeah.
That was my
Cool.
next question.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
He's one of the new miniatures coming is a giant, which is a giant
Oh,
orc.
that's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So we got him. Let me get to the next one. This will be my last one I want to show you. And again, just showing you guys the artwork, the black and white and the color.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I like
Oh, yeah.
that.
And that's our Minotaur. So
Yeah, that looks awesome.
yeah. And that, I just wanted to give everybody a taste that that's the artwork we're doing too. And again, we don't compromise on that. And believe me, if we think it sucks, we're not going to do it. So we have a certain standard where we're like, this has to be, good. And it has to be cool. Right, Matt? It
Yeah.
has to be cool.
That was the first thing I asked them when they talked to me about working on stuff together. I was like, well, I mean, we could sit here all day and talk about the specifics of percentages. I was like, are we going to make cool stuff? Because that's really what's important here.
Yep.
Yeah.
The rule of cool is the most important rule.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I needed to, like, because my normal day job, so and so is working film and videography and theater work. So it was, now recently I have not done that in a while because I've been boxing sets this entire time. But no, I was like, like if I'm ever at a point where I'm out of ideas or I'm not making anything cool, I might as well not make random crap that people are going to buy and waste their money on. So, because I've bought so many things over the years where I was just like, well, I kind of wish I hadn't bought that,
Yeah.
So, and
Jeez, what's that like?
well, like that we have criteria in our campaign too, and like a lot of my referees wind up writing material too to run in the game. I was like, 3 things: like, is it cool and fun? Does it actually add anything, or does it just not need to be written down? Or and are we actually going to use it? So it might sound really cool, but if we're never going to use it, what's the point in having it? So
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, do we got any other questions for these guys? Jason, no, Stan?
I had 4,
No,
but I
I'm
forgot
good.
the last one. But it doesn't matter. I heard plenty, so I'm good.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is,
Well,
is
yeah.
there any?
No, yeah. Your answers were exactly not what I wanted to hear, but they were as in depth as I had hoped they would be. So I'm very happy. It's been great.
Good.
Is there anything else you guys want to mention? Anything you guys want to do? Is there any questions in the chat?
I would like to just say that same thing that I usually say is just thank you to not only the backers on Kickstarter, but the backers for, Barrows and Borderlands, Tonnesborg, Arduin. I think for any small company in this industry, thank you, past, present, future, dead, another plane, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, without you guys, it's like we can't produce.
Correct. Yeah. No, and I want to reiterate that we thank everybody who's supporting us. And like I said, it's a passion project, and what's the old saying in the industry? If you want to make a small fortune, start with a large fortune in the gaming industry. So
it's like farming. Yep.
Yeah. So this is all passion for us, and we appreciate everybody. We really love everybody that we've connected. It was great, connecting with Griff, connecting with Matt now, forming good relationships with good people, Stan, Jason, Roger, your whole crew, at CNYCon, and everybody we met there, and Greg and Tenkar and everybody else, and I'm forgetting people that I hate, but that I'm forgetting this, but everybody. It's nice, and it's great to be in a community, an industry that's like this. And like we just said, we just want to keep making cool stuff that people like, and just enjoying that with our friends.
Yeah.
It's amazing that this industry is fantastic. And like I just from running the convention, as soon as I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, just everybody. I mean, and obviously there's my local play group and everything, and that just anything they can do, they wanted to help. And and I'm hard to deal with at times, I admit it, but the entire industry, everybody, like Tenkar, and I mean you guys and everybody just jumped in and was like, yeah, what can we do? We want to make this better. We're all in this together, and they just jumped in and wanted to be a part of it from the beginning. And yeah, this industry is just fantastic for that. And I can't think of any other industry that's like that, where you start a project and then you have just the entire community behind you, and they all want to see you succeed and help you do that. And and it's not about like, oh well, this is better or this is that. It's just like, yeah, let's do this. Let's let everybody elevates everybody, and then and then the whole group, the whole system, everything. It's just amazing. So.
That was something that Stan said in our private chat, I think last week. It wasn't very long ago. We were talking about a lot of the negatives in the current role-playing sphere. And I am quick to jump on a negative and just like beat it into the ground, because there's a lot of things I don't like about the industry. So when I get a chance to be unapologetically enthusiastic and happy about something, man, it's really a breath of fresh air. I was really as soon as Roger said you guys were coming on, I was super excited about it. I immediately went over and grabbed my map tubes. I was looking at my books earlier today, super excited. And it's just like, it's been 2 hours and 48 minutes, feels like half an hour. Just super positive about this. I'm really happy you guys are putting this work together.
Wait till you see the new country maps.
No, I can't wait, man.
They're not going to be the same as the Arduin map, but we have a whole style now. So
awesome.
Or the fifth continent. That one's cool.
The fifth continent, yeah, that one's in the works too.
Somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier, the fifth continent. I didn't know what they were referring to, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I know nothing.
It sounds it.
We have ways of making you talk, sir.
Yeah.
No, like I said, it's exciting, and like I said, get ready, Stan. Lots of miniatures.
Can't wait. That'd be awesome.
That, so yeah.
Yes. Stan was just telling me
convention, Roger. We might need some more room.
Yeah. Stan was just telling me that he was running out of things to paint, and he needed a new pile of stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
We were talking about earlier, just a moment ago, about buying stuff that you regret. I have a whole basement full of that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the convention up there, Central New York Con, and
yeah,
I think as far as gaming stuff, I mean, we're all in kind of an agreement here of it should be. I saw somebody comment that like, thank you for George and Dave pushing to get the old Arduin stuff really what it should be. And that's been really fun. I knew from the moment I met them that that's exactly what kind of the exact kind of people they were. They're people that actually like the material they're publishing, which is kind of funny that you don't get that nowadays. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Whoever wouldn't want to like what they publish, it just seems like self-torture or self-mutilation or something,
or
like the fans.
Or like the fans, yeah.
We were looking at the box earlier, and it has I think it was a was it a Minotaur that's grabbing onto an adventurer, and there's another coming in the back. I saw that, and I'm not trying to go negative. Yes, that when it's Manticore. Thank you. When I saw that, I was like, damn, that if I walked into a dungeon and saw that, I'd be like, we're in the wrong place. I'm sure there's something we can do back there. There's something. And, but then I compare that to one of the WotC covers that's come out, and we were all making fun of it because it's wretched. But it's like it's got like the happy beholder back here, and there's a bard playing, and it's WotC. It's like this is the embodiment of WotC 2025, and but it's the beholder that I focused on. It's this happy, cheery sphere that's like part of the group, and I'm like, the beholders are supposed to be terrifying. So when I see that Manticore, I'm like, oh my God, get out of here. That's the kind of monster that I want to be seeing in my dungeons. Anyway, so I love the art. It looks great. Yes,
there you go.
That is not someone that I want to invite to dinner.
Yeah.
No.
You're muted, Matt.
You're muted, Matt.
Oh, that was the one that Castle Grief did for the Barrows and Borderlands box. So quite happy about that.
That's nice.
I told him I wanted them ugly.
Yes. As an abomination should be.
As it should.
Yeah. They should definitely look, alien and you know,
they are
mean and like they're gonna kill you. These guys in the Castle and Crusades campaign, my group, Jason and Joe and some of the other guys, they ran into a beholder, and the beholder I think commanded one of the guys. They realized there was the anti-magic thing going on, and it commanded like one of the guys and basically like spoke to, I think, him or everybody else. I wasn't sure exactly how, and was like just told him, get out, leave me alone, type of thing. And these guys were like, "Yep, okay, thanks, bye." Like, yep, sorry,
we're in the wrong place.
We'll come back in 5 levels, but yep, sure, we'll close the door, lock it for you. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yep, we're going. Yeah,
my players come back with military. So
Joe says, the beholder still owes me 30 feet of silk rope. Yeah, he lost some rope there to that guy. So yeah, fun times. I mean, unless you guys got anything else, I mean, we're almost to the 3-hour mark. So
wow.
I mean,
I didn't feel like it.
Yeah, no,
it's crazy. And we've been doing this for the last several weeks, and man, it's just like we just sit here and talk about stuff, and 3 hours go by, and it's like it's nothing. You just start talking about gaming and have a good time. And
can we really talk about Free League for 3 hours? Turns out we can.
Yeah, we can. I wasn't even sure, and then we started going into different games and everything. It's just nuts. And then, and you guys are wonderful to talk to as well.
Yeah. Your enthusiasm really, really makes this a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
I know when I'm into it, when my hands get going, I get the
yeah.
I know exactly how you
feel. No, like I said, just awesome. And I do want to shout out to everybody who's been helping us too here, the internal team at MCHO, with everybody that they've been doing up. We have artists, we have writers, we have people, they don't get paid. They just love it, and they're there and they help out. You know, and it's a lot of good people. I know Matt has a lot of good people there. It's amazing how many good people that we have involved. Everything,
they are key.
You guys stand with the painting. It just, everybody has their piece, and it just makes such a great whole with everybody putting in.
We have some resident YouTubers in our Discord as well, that anytime there's a rules conundrum or something they don't understand, next thing you know, there's already like a 5-minute YouTube video quickly explaining it. I love
those are my people right there, man.
Yes, dude. That was when we had the new hit point system. That's exactly what happened. Fox Off RPG was like, hold on, don't type anymore, and they just filmed it real quick and sent it in. He's like, this is how you do it.
I got a lot of people I need to start subscribing to.
Yeah, well,
those are my kind of people right there.
Yeah, and then like a lot of guys in the chat have really been pushing the game quite well and doing an awesome job. And I think they're just excited to play it. Like Ultra American TTRPG or Hunter, I had us on stream the other night, and I don't know if I've met anybody else as excited as he is for this Kickstarter to come out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, Ultra was awesome with everything. Again, the support's been great, guys, with the Kickstarter. We really appreciate it. And that, like I said, we're not here to make a mint off this. We're here to make enough to cover everything and fund a little bit to the next time so we can get to the next project and produce more. And every little bit helps. So thank you again. We really do mean it. Thank you for everybody giving and pushing and helping. And we really appreciate it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Shout out to RPG Grandma too. I hope she gets better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is she sick?
I think she is, maybe. Isn't that what you were saying, George?
I thought she wasn't feeling the greatest, so I hope she gets better. So yeah, to RPG Grandma.
I don't know if she's watching today, but yeah, hope she gets well soon. So yeah, cool. It's been fantastic. Hope you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
George, Dave, you guys, I'd love to have you guys back sometime, talk about stuff. Anything, if there's any subjects you guys want to talk about, anything like that, love to have you guys back. George, I think me, you, and Jason, just the three of us alone could spend 6 hours talking.
Oh yeah.
To answer one or two questions. I mean, that might be a problem, but let's do it. We'll just talk until our voices give out. Matt, I'd love to have you back on and discussing, your game, how you run it, and all of that stuff, because that's that I really dig that stuff. It's really cool. It's really kind of like the game setup that I tried to push, and I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
With the real time thing and all of that, and I think that'd be really fantastic. So
just wait till I tell you about my 8 synced calendars that all move automatically 1-to-1 time across 8 universes.
Yes, that's what I want to talk about. So when you're free, let me know, and we'll set that up, because I think the guys out there would love to hear some of that stuff. So we can talk about all of that, and I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, lots of fun.
So yeah, we'll see you guys on the other side, and to everybody out there, thanks for coming. Like, share, subscribe. Go back to Kickstarter, subscribe, to my channel, to Decato's channel, Stan, jump on Facebook, get on the convention site, get on Matt's Discord, get on MCHO's Facebook, and all that fun stuff. Just join everything. Just Google all that stuff and just hit join, and, whatever comes up. Yeah, it'll be fantastic. So yeah, it's a great time, and we'll see you guys later. Good night.
Thanks,
good night, everybody.
Good night.
Easy.
Thanks,
Have
everybody.
a good one.